500 horsepower pushing me into my seat, reaching 250 kilometers an hour in a few seconds, while braking just as quick. Driving on some of the most famous tracks in the world. Driving bumper to bumper against great players from all around the world. Fighting for the ultimate prize. Being the real racer. The Real Race 2021. Sign up now.
Lamborghini The Real Race returns for round number 6 as we're halfway through the season by now, but there's still plenty of racing action still to come. My name is Rennie Butler, and obviously bring you all the action right from the track, this time at the Nürburgring. Kind of fitting with the Sim Racing Expo going on here right now as well. And once again, I'm not alone in terms of talking about all the racing action. I also brought Lee Smith with me once again. Lee, are you ready for racing action?
I am. I'm not quite at the Nürburgring like you are, but I am absolutely ready for some fantastic action. Will it be a wet day? We never know with the Nürburgring. Will the rain come?
Yeah, it's a big question. We had different rain races already, and we know how challenging they can be for the drivers. It will be very interesting to see what the Nürburgring brings for us in terms of racing. Last time, in case you missed round number 5, we visited the Netherlands and Zandvoort track. We obviously got the highlights for you. And now they're getting started. Look at that. Martelli actually slotted right behind. That's not true, because obviously we just get them across the line. Benedetti slotted in right behind Jordan Sheriff, but we see Leo Boulay already on the inside, trying to push through. He actually managed.
Addison around the outside though, so it's going to be shut down. Martin Jordanovski is certainly going to be neck and neck alongside him. Now this is absolutely the best part of the track for me. You're flat out through the curves. Absolutely go as fast as you can up into 4th, 5th, as much as they can, and then hard down to 3rd gear around the corner. Try and risk it. Don't end up in that giant grapple.
Oh, and Tomaska Christian, he got tapped from the rear. Did a small mistake there.
Martelli looking to dive up the inside, maybe. No, he's going to go defensive on the inside, which means the undercut's possible here for Martelli. That's what he's looking for. The switchback works wonders.
Meanwhile, we see Leo Boulay, who was in 2nd place, dropping even further. He's now in 6th. Oh, look at that. Zandvoort wasn't an easy race, that's for sure. Right there through the dunes and kind of like a roller coaster. Now we're going to a track that actually has a roller coaster right next to it, even though it actually never works at the Nürburgring. But that's another big topic. Obviously, Lee, with heading into another Lamborghini The Real Race events, we want to say thank you to ACC. That's the sim that we're playing on and the one that you will see today here on the screens. Thanks also to Intel, to Kaspersky, and Secret Labs, because they're the nice seats we're seating on, the Titan seats, but they're new ones, Titan EVO 2022. So even that sounds like the future, it is the future, and you can already order them. So make sure to check that one out. But what also needs to be checked out, Lee, is what we're in for and what drivers are in for, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, going forward, obviously, if you're, you enjoy what you're watching, and you think you are good enough to take part. Then Catalonia is coming up next. That's going to be on, where is it going to be? 2nd of October is when the qualifiers close. That will be the final qualifiers. 3rd of October is when the race is on. So that means on the 27th of September, keep your eyes peeled for open qualifications. If you are not in Europe, don't worry, because it's not just about EMEA. It's APAC as well as North America, Latin America, all those guys. You all get your own servers and you all get a chance to compete. And if you are in the top 40 fastest drivers. You will reach the closed qualifiers to whittle it down to the fastest 20. And don't forget, everybody that also signs up to have a go has a chance at winning a headset as well. But there's also a fantastic prize for the fastest driver come race day.
There is, and when we talk about fantastic price, it always kind of sounds like a mystery, but I guess everyone knows by now because it's a really, really cool one. It's actually a drive and an absolute beast on the track, and by the way, a very good-looking beast. I have to say that each and every time we look into it, I think that should be the car that should be on my driveway. Probably not going to happen, but,
Yeah.
but you can sit in it and you can drive it. So if you want to know what you can drive, check this one out.
Engine good, positive lap for driver change. Copy, now.
Lamborghini Huracán Super Trofeo EVO. The name sounds cool, the car's cool, and we actually have a bunch of drivers that have a chance to get there and drive that one. And it's a big task to do and to drive that and to actually get there. And Lee, we are on round 6. That means we already had 5 results across the regions we had. And we also kind of went around the globe to drive everywhere, drive on every track.
Yeah, we've been around. Obviously, we've covered over in North Americas as well. There's championships running in both North America and, of course, the APAC region. And obviously, we try and cover the tracks as we go, which is why we started at Monza. We covered everybody at Monza. Laguna Seca, we actually covered, obviously, over in Americas. That's where the track is based. And then Suzuka, we gave the APAC region some love over for the endurance race. And then, of course, we hit South Africa, the home of Jordan Sherritt, who is dominating at the moment. Kyalami, of course, being his strong point. Zandvoort was no difference. Obviously, we saw a lot of different cars driving around Zandvoort. The same results applied. It is a very tricky track to overtake, and now we find ourselves here at the Nürburgring. It is, of course, going to be an endurance race today, which means it will be a straight up 2-hour race.
Yeah, and then we head over to Catalonia, Silverstone, and then into another endurance race at Spa-Francorchamps before we finish off Lamborghini The Real Race at Misano. So still a lot of laps to be done and a lot of tricks to be held up your sleeves if you want to win one of these events. Not an easy one, but Nürburgring will be a great venue for us to just dive into. But before we get onto the track and get onto the grid, it's another message by Lamborghini CEO Stefan Winkelmann.
Pushing the boundaries has been within the DNA of Lamborghini from the very first day. And we all agree that competition helps every company and every individual to never rest and always keep pushing. Of course, this is also true for racing competitions, be it out on the track or in a simulator. In fact, sim racing has experienced a huge growth over the last years, even accelerated during this last year of travel restrictions and other limitations due to COVID. Lamborghini is happy to be a supporter and an important driver of this trend. We share the passion of the sim racing community. With the real race, we are now increasing the competition to 3 regions. This is a great development, underlining Lamborghini's commitment and providing even more racers a chance to engage with our brand. On the company's journey, the development of digital solutions is crucial. Making racing accessible for everyone is close to our heart. In the end, we all in this incredible car universe are in it for the love of cars and the passion for performance. We'd like to wish the best luck to the drivers. We are all looking forward to seeing who will win the championship and become Lamborghini official sim driver in 2022. And now I invite you to play, to compete, to be entertained by Lamborghini.
Back at the studio, and that means we're getting closer and closer to the start of round 6 and the actual race. 2 hours we will do today on the Nürburgring GP track. So no, this is not the hidden Nordschleife announcement for Assetto Corsa Competizione that we all are waiting for, but we'll visit the GP track in general. Normally, I would say it's home court advantage for all the German drivers that we have plenty of in sim racing, but none of them qualified for today. So that means the only one with home court advantage is me, because I live there.
That's it. You're going to jump in a Lamborghini and away you go, and you're going to challenge Jordan Sherratt right at the top of the table. That's exactly how it's going to work. No, obviously these guys need to figure it out. Now, I don't think you guys need to know. Obviously, well, you do need to know, but you don't need to be told that there is going to be a pit stop. It is an endurance race. Obviously, they're going to have a bit more of a splash and dash than they ordinarily would have in the sprint race. And of course, time management could be a thing with a 2-hour race. Obviously, an hour on each set you're generally looking at. We're going to be looking at when people try and undercut, the overcut, which is going to pay off better, because we have seen some pretty big varied results across the races. If you think back to Suzuka, obviously last time we had the endurance race, some of those actually worked out massively and saw some huge positional changes. So I'm very interested to see how that works out. And again, can anybody challenge the dominance that is Jordan Sherratt?
I really hope so, because I want to see him not struggling. That sounds a bit mean, but I want to see him fighting for getting another win. So far, as you said, he was doing absolutely flawless. I think we never catched him really doing anything wrong on the track, so he definitely deserves to be on the top of the leaderboard here in the EMEA region. But maybe Nürburgring could pose another challenge to him, also depending on what weather conditions we get and what's happening on the track. Of course, it is the legendary Nürburgring. You pass the roller coaster going down into the hairpin at turn 1, then the Mercedes Arena, which is not an easy one to get through, all the way down to Dunlop Corner, which is this one here, which is close to Müllenbach, by the way. So if you're into the region in general, then it's a left-right-hand combination before going up to the big chicane, which is probably a prime spot besides turn 1 to dive someone and to try to make a move, as there can be high differences in, like big differences in terms of a speed, entry level speed into the chicane. Then there are the Ludwig tellers, right, which is the curve in the middle, the round shaped one. So there's a first curve and then there's a second round shaped curve. If you hit that one, cars get really unbalanced. So I think it will be one of the spots where we should always have our eyes on that camera.
I can tell you where I always screw up, and it's turn 10. That's where I always mess up. Yeah,
Wait.
So you come out, so you blast through the Schumacher race, you're going up the hill, and then I never brake enough. I never quite slow myself down to hit the apex. Next thing I know, it's put me completely out of shape. Get into the, I think it's the Warsteiner curve at the moment. You know,
yeah.
it carries a sponsor every single time. And then you're completely out of position, and it just screws me up every time. That's where I always make mistakes. I'm sure everybody kind of has that corner, right, where they always like, it's in the back of their mind. It's like, oh, you screwed up here before.
Braking point is on the right, where you see the support track coming in.
That's
the
it,
short version. That's actually the braking point. And it is a tricky corner because you can run over the curb, which is really hard to handle. It's the shorter way, but you kind of miss the traction coming out of the corner. Or you use the natural banking that the corner has to go alongside the curb. So many different ways to make it through the Nürburgring, and many different drivers that will try it today. So we should have a look and who's in for today's race besides Jordan Sherratt. He's a given, I would say. And the next big name that kind of comes to my mind is Jaroslav Honzik, right? Jadier, that's big, having him back. And as next one, I would pick from my side Luca Tavanari, actually.
Yeah, we've got a couple of returners. Tavanari is probably the closest, I would say, points-wise to Sherratt these days that's taking part. Obviously, Tommy Razzieri, we had put in a great performance. Derek Adams, we've seen here before. Luke Addison as well. Obviously, the South Africans all representing really well. Leo Boulay actually raced very well last time he was here. I'm trying to look across the lines. Anyone else? Obviously, Benjamin Baumann, we saw a bunch of times. There's a lot of returning names that we've seen here before. But in terms of challenging Jordan, it is definitely going to be a challenge. And obviously, I saw the chat from the qualifying. Gianfranco Giglio was basically saying, I thought I did the perfect lap, but I'm still 0.4 seconds behind Jordan Sherratt. That is literally how it was. And he's just like, you're an actual monster. I don't know how you did it.
Yeah, Giglio, the 24-year-old Italian, he says, his favorite Lamborghini is a Huracán Performante. You can't go wrong with that, that's for sure. But position 25 is probably not what he's looking for. If he's only 0.4 seconds off Jordan Sherratt at the Nürburgring, then he deserves more points, I would say. And he should be able to climb the board in the overall championship and get closer and closer. But it will be hard to take away the podium spots from the drivers that are in there. Although, tonight, Kevin Seclari is not around, which means once again he will drop down the order. Jaroslav Honzik, another driver that wants to go up the order. Czech, 33 years old. I'm definitely rooting for him because we're the same age and he's still active in sim racing. Well, every time I go behind the wheel, I kind of feel I'm too old to win. So I hope maybe he comes away with a win and proves me wrong. That would be good.
I mean, it would be great if anybody came away with a win other than Jordan. But Razzieri, I think he finished third, both sprint race and main race, if I'm not mistaken, in the previous race at Zandvoort. I can't remember. He was definitely up there and about. It was either third or fourth, if memory serves. It was only 2 weeks ago. You know, there's a lot gone on in 2 weeks.
That is true. But, yeah, I definitely remember him doing very well on the last race, so I expect a lot from him. Benjamin Baumann, the Swiss 18-year-old, a very young driver in our entire grid, I would say. Position 15 overall, and he's looking for more points here at the Nürburgring. It's a bit closer than the other racetracks, probably, from Switzerland, and I see him currently in practice doing quite well. So let's see how he can turn around that in a good start and get away. Calandrino, 14th, another Italian driver. Italians are really, really strong here in the Lamborghini The Real Race competition. Absolutely love to see that. They're very passionate and they're great drivers. So let's see if Calandrino can actually get a few more points to dive into the top 10 of the overall standings.
Absolutely. Luke Addison's a driver we've seen here a number of times. You can see 11th in the positions as well, working his way up the timings. Did have a big off at Kyalami, really big off. Caught that the big sausage curve. I can't remember the name of it now. It's that curve just before the final finishing line, and absolutely spun him completely off, and that ruined his race. He was running in third or fourth at the time. I mean, obviously dropped him along the points. But Luke Addison, definitely a driver to look out for. Leo Boulet, as we talked about already, has been here a number of times. Currently 7th in terms of points. Let's see if he has a better race this time. His last outing had a big off in the end. It was a DNF for him because the car was pretty much ruined as it went into the barriers. So he wasn't able to limp it round and get it repaired. But Leo Boulet, certainly a challenger. And Luca Tavanari, as we said, working his way up the points. Currently 6th in the standings. I think he could actually reach 2nd if he does well today.
Yeah, he should be able, especially with Seclari and a few other names not being here. So he got all the cards in hands. And obviously every proper racing championships needs a flying fin. We got our own one. We got Heikki Hurtinen, who's once again joining 32nd so far in the overall standings. So he will definitely look for more points and get up the board. He is 7th in free practice. So maybe the Nürburgring is one of his favorable tracks. Carlo Barberi, 22nd from Italia once again. We got a lot of... I just wanted to look up in the list, like, wait, how many Italians had there been? But they are good. They are fast. But Barberi, I think he was missing out 1 or 2 races across the championship so far. So it will be hard for him to dive back into a top spot. Gabor Sharosi, we didn't have him the last race, but previously, 21 years young from Hungary and only 20th, although I think Sharosi was most of the races around top 15 as his top spot, so it's kinda what he's in for now. Maybe he can do better here.
I think Roman's doing the old push your muscle forward trick there. So, with the arm, push it forward. Everybody's done it when you had a photo before, but yes, the young 34-year-old driver, I like to say young 34, he's younger than me, it's going to see what he can do here. Obviously, we saw Roman Lippens before, put in a great performance in the previous race at Zandvoort. So that leads us up to today. These are the current standings as we are. As I say, Kevin Ciclari, Tinko van der Velde, neither of them are here. Razieri is, so obviously a chance for him to push up there. Kadlasic as well is not in the race today. Tavanari is, as well as Leo Boulay and Tariq Adam, all 6th, 7th and 8th. And Charlie Crossland forgot to qualify for Zandvoort. Which is why he didn't actually move up the table. So the one and only British representative we had is not here again.
It seems like, Lee, you have to step in next time.
I need to get in my rig.
Yes, season 3 of the Lamborghini The Real Race. We probably just take part and do commentary on the side. Let's see what happens there. But I can see that all the drivers are getting ready and into their seats and in position on the grid. So let's head into a short break, and then we're right back with a start at the Nürburgring GP. Nürburgring is greeting us, and it's greeting us with a typical Eiffel weather, which is absolutely incredible because it should have been bad today in real life as well, but it isn't. Beautiful sunshine. Doesn't help you in the virtual world though, Lee, because everyone here probably starts on wet tires or is taking the risk of slicks in the rain.
Absolutely. The question is, how long is this rain going to stand? Well, I'll be able to tell you in a moment if I get into the game itself. No, I can't. It can't. It's not going to tell me just yet. I'm waiting for the info to show up. How long we're going to have it. When the session starts, we will know whether it's going to stay like this. It is pretty greasy, the track. You can tell right now if you look at it. Actually, if we look down the grid right now, there's a lot of marbling as well on the right-hand side from the warm-ups they've been doing. I'm not sure whether that's going to stay there, but everybody getting themselves ready to go, popping into position. And as you can see, of course, it will be Jordan Sherritt starting things off on pole position. Would we expect anything else? As I mentioned, Giglio 0.4 seconds behind, and he was the second fastest. Jaroslav Honzik, see whether he can put a move in behind and maybe follow Jordan on the start.
By the way, if I see this correctly, then Jordan Sherritt and most of the other drivers should be on slicks. The track is greasy, we get more rain going forward, but for now at least, it seems like everyone decided to be on dry tires. If my eyes do not confuse me here. Jaroslav Honzik in third. Definitely a driver to watch. Absolutely love his streams and the video on YouTube. And his driving style is very entertaining. Let's see how he gets away on the grid as the race is green. And everyone's getting away quite well. Jordan Sherritt once again leading the pack. So far, no one really attacking him. And Giglio dropped down a bit. Honzik up the inside. Let's see if they dive down to turn 1. Honzik got spun around. And that will be it for him. He will drop down the order quite quickly. And we go side by side into the Mercedes-AMG arena here. It seems like, at least for the top 3, everything is alright.
Absolute disaster for Honzik, no doubt about it. But it helps out Tommy Razieri, who is obviously looking to push the points up the table, 4th in the points at the moment, and this could be a big advantage for him. Tariq Adam also going backwards. What has happened there? So a quick look at Tariq Adam. He's obviously had an off in the start, so he's lost about 3 or 4 positions. Make that 5 as he gets challenged out. Looks like he's going to be side by side with Leto at the moment, but I'm not too sure what it's going to work out out for him. That's going to be very hard going down on the road into the corner. He will have the inside line coming into this hard braking corner, and that will be where Leto gives him a little bit of position back, but he's going to go for the switch back and through. And I'll tell you what, Bryce might be having a look at the challenge here. He's going to be on the outside as they come up to the Schumacher S. And that's going to be very tricky to hold position. Tariq Adam with the racing line, forcing Leto off the circuit there. And Adam, in the end, will hold position. And look at Bryce, he's looking to sneak through too.
What a race start we get here. 90-degree left-hander, that's the one we talked about, where you kind of always miss the braking point, and he made the move stick here. Absolutely great racing right from the get-go. It's a 2-hour endurance race, but we get more like a sprint start, I would say, although 2 hours for GT3 drivers is a sprint race, I would say. But Leto lost a ton of position here. He opened the door a bit too much in the Dunlop corner, and that did not pay off for him.
Adam off.
Oh, we get the replay, though, off the start, but you're right, Tariq Adam had a mistake, although he's back on the track, but this is, once again, the helicopter perspective of turn 1, and that's Jaroslav Honzik that got spun around there. Look at him, stuck in traffic, facing the wrong way around, and obviously, he's now all the way down to not last anymore. He's 18th now, while Tariq Adam, side by side with Heike, should be the car right next to him. Now, Heike's already in front. And that's Tariq Adam in the blue Lamborghini Huracán GT3 right behind.
From 5th down to 11th in... Oh, hello. Who was that off the circuit? There was somebody off there. That was Bryce. Bryce off the circuit as well, I think it was. Yeah, so he's also off, gone onto the grass there, just rejoined. So he loses position. He was also in and around the position, actually gained one, taking over Tariq Adam.
Yeah, it's like his return to the track, I think it was a bit on the dangerous side, I would say. There was a bit contact left and right, not the best way, but race marshals, I'm sure, will have a look at this situation. And talking about the typical situation, Jordan Sheriff is done and gone, I would say. 1 second and a bit more between him and Giglio already while we're just finishing the first lap, so... The South African once again with a perfect start into the race.
Yeah, and well, we know Jordan Sherritt's going to be in and away. The question is, can anybody keep close to him? That's what we're going to be looking for, obviously. It is a rainy endurance race. Giglio is a second adrift already, which is a little concerning for me. He does have, though, Giglio, Tommy Razzieri, really keeping him in check. Now, Razzieri obviously 4th in the qualifying, did gain that position with Jaroslav Honzik going out on the first corner there. Looking by on Luke Addison and Leo Boulay as well. I think this is where a lot of the racing is going to happen today. From 2nd down to sort of 5th place. That's where a lot of the contenders for the championship are right now. Obviously, we know Jordan Sherritt is running away with it, but these are the drivers that are all looking to try and gain as many points. There is a 15-second penalty for car number 69. That is Tariq Adam. So obviously rejoining the track unfairly, or whether it's... I hope it's not for cutting, because he went off the track that many times.
Oh, side-by-side action into turn 1. That is Bryce once again. And around him, that's Florent Pangraves. Tried to get around, and he did so. So Bryce down to 13th by now, and for Tariq Adam, obviously, as you said, with a 15-second penalty, yeah, it gets even worse today. Definitely not the race he was hoping for. Further up the front, Fazekas against Leo Boulay, and he got Lewick behind him. So right there in the sandwich in rainy Nürburgring. We still got greasy conditions, so it could get better, it could get worse. At least we don't have the plus anymore for the 30 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully it will ease off. As we say, it is a 2-hour race, so there is time for the weather to change. And who knows, the second half of this race may well be dry, and it will change things again. But at the moment, they are having to deal with these greasy conditions. It's not too bad. They're going to, most of them will have probably the wets on, and they'll be fine with that. If you remember back to... Where were we when it was last time it was proper wet? Was it Laguna Seca? I feel like, no, it wasn't. Laguna Seca was dry.
Suzuka, we had like proper
It
rain.
may have been Suzuki, yeah, and we were discussing it, and somebody indeed had started on the dries, and that was it was a big problem for them. But as you mentioned, if it's not wet enough, they kind of become slicks anyway. But this is pretty wet.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. So, although it's raining, I think with 25 degrees on the track, it's still fine running the slicks. You need to be a bit more on the safe side, obviously, with what you're doing. And real life curbs get very, very slippery, so stay away from those. While Jaroslav Honzik tries to get back onto a proper position after spinning or gotten spun around in turn 1. When we started another 5 seconds, by the way, for Bryce. So also his day does not really get any better.
Absolutely. Honzik's working his way back through the pack, as we would expect. Obviously, for someone that has qualified in 3rd place, he will be able to try and work it through. He's behind Benjamin Baumann once again at the moment, so he's up to 17th in countings. Already past Lippens as well, and Barbieri back there. So working his way back through the field. We'll keep our eye on him. He's got plenty of time to get his race going, but I got to be honest, like from a mental point of view, in racing, when you're in your sim rig and you get spun in the first corner, oh my god, it's frustrating. You're gonna have those couple of laps of just like absolute red mist descending, and then you're just sort of slowly gonna cool off and right, okay, let's see what we can do.
Yeah, you definitely need to get back into your rhythm, and you need to calm down once again, concentrate. It's very, very important, but I'm absolutely sure that Jaroslav Honzik can do that. By the way, Bryce penalty went up by another 5 seconds. So he's on 10 now. Seems like he and Tarek Adam tried to battle each other in terms of what they can do. And Jaroslav Honzik once again got a position. What happened there? Gabor Sharosi, I see, is down to 18th. And if we look at position gained overall, then Calandrino is obviously the biggest, let's say the biggest loser for now. 14 positions lost now that he's last.
Shirosi's just retaken Roman Lippins there, so but there is damage on the front of Shirosi's car, and it's interesting to see Gabor down there, because I remember seeing him at Kilami being up and around 5th place before, but yeah. What is going on here? Heikki very much involved. That is Tariq Adam up behind him as well, seeing if he can get past. It's Leto that's kind of the leader of this train, it seems, as Heikki, Adam and Tavanari. Tavanari down in 11th. That does seem a little out of position for him as well. Tariq Adam, oh, you're blocked in there. Heikki's not going to let you round the side. That is a very slow corner to try and squeeze it round, but he's not going to be able to squeeze on through round the bend. Not quite enough. Heikki is a little out of position, but it's not enough for Tariq to squeeze through.
Oh, that was I wasn't sure if he still gets the braking point on there, because you kind of have to trail brake into the long left-hander, and then all of a sudden I think the car just slipped slightly and he had to counter it, and with that it cost him time, dropped him down position again. He's now behind Bryce and away from Matau and Adam, that's for sure. Now we're 13th, but you can see like a small mistake can cost you absolutely everything.
Yeah, you got to remember, obviously, these cars, some of these, you can already see penalties starting to clock up. Tariq Adam with a 15-second penalty, Bryce with a 10-second penalty, all for their shenanigans in and around the first lap. There's a 5-second penalty also going across to Barberi there, so he's got one down in 19th place. Not what he needs, but yeah, the penalty's racking up pretty quickly here for a 2-hour race with 1 hour and 50 to go.
Yeah, that is true. Let's hope they can stay out of trouble a bit later. Bryce once again behind Pangraves. Can he close that gap and maybe launch and tech, getting closer to the top 10 again? I mean, let's be honest, it is a 2-hour race, so the 10-second penalty, he can overcome that. We saw that in previous races how they did. So why not? It's very early, but he wants those track positions. He does not want to be too far off of Tavanari and Adam. So for that, he has to find a way around Pangraves, but it's one thing to close the gap, it's another to actually make the move. Down right in front of the hotel here at the Nürburgring, you see it there, you can actually get a room there and then have a beautiful view on the start-finish stretch of the track. Then the old commentary cabins on the left, by the way, they're the original ones. That were basically when the old TV tower was replaced with the new grandstands.
Oh, Bryce is going for it.
They actually put it on top, but let's see, look at that. Bryce up the inside into turn 1 hairpin, but now he got the outside line for Mercedes, and that will make it a lot harder for him, and that brings Heikki back into the fight as well.
Yeah, after his big off, he's going to be feeling a little out of position here, Heike. Remember, obviously, he was the one we saw at this exact corner going off just one lap ago. So he's looking to try and squeeze through there, maybe trying to make advantage. Bryce with the 10-second penalty as well, all trying to get past Florent Pangraves.
Yeah, Bryce there now right between these two green Lamborghini Huracán GT3s. Not an easy spot to be in, especially that early in the race. I mean, you would love to just sit there and just get into the groove and save your car and tires and then try to build your strategy for the rest of the race depending on how the start was, but he's constantly in fights.
Yeah, very much wedged at the moment, and Heikki's going to be feeling that he can get faster as well. Further up the field, we also have a bit of a train with Leo Boulet. Fazekas right on his rear bumper there, but had to back away as they go down the straight. Definitely getting a challenge for him. Fazekas has been trying to put as much as he can on him and get past Barnabas. Definitely going quicker on the previous lap. Actually, almost is about a half a second faster, so definitely whether Boulet had a bit of an outing or not, I'm not too sure. But at the moment, these guys are lapping around about a 1:59 to 2 minute mark. Obviously, apart from John Sherritt, who's doing 1:58.6s casually. Going, I wonder, right? Oh, hello. You might be able to get past him on the straight here. That is down. That is Jaroslav Honzik, I think it is, going past. Yes, it is. Honzik has made the move stick, so he's got past Verhat there. Should be able to make it stick unless he gets torpedoed into turn one. And had to be careful. He was very much risky of it. Obviously, he got spun there already on the first lap. Meanwhile, what is going on ahead of him? There is 3 cars adrift at the moment, all trying to challenge around the bend as they come into there. Honzik looking to see if he can try and make something from it. Has to go emergency on the brakes. Turns in a little too close onto, I think that's Gabor, wasn't it, that he turned in on. And Honzik in the end, Gabor goes off the track, and all getting very messy through the opening first 4 corners.
Yeah, that was once again racing action wherever we looked. No chance to follow all of it, but Jaroslav Honzik at least got through and did not lose any more time as he's now in 15th. Tarek Adam fighting against Letao. That's the car up front, and Luca Tavanari right behind. It's another of those fighting groups, and I can tell you, currently in the broadcasting tool, everything is rat because all the cars are so close, and we're only 15 minutes into a 2-hour race.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Boulet under pressure, so that's 5th and 6th. He's being challenged out there, so definitely pressure there. Leto with a bit of a train behind him. That is Tarek, Adam, and Tavanari continuing to be on his heels. Further down the field, we already saw Pangraves. Let's have a look at Benjamin Baumann, though. So Benjamin Baumann with an overtake, so he is looking to try and get past Pangraves at the moment. Has he got past Honzik again? I think because Honzik was up behind Baumann at one point.
Yeah, Honzik is a bit further down.
Not
that is Pangraves. Pangraves looking for a new way around the chicane. Many drivers tried that before. I can tell you it does not really pay off, and it didn't do here either, as Benjamin Baumann takes 13, and now it's the slipstream battle. Look at that. He got Jaroslav Honzik. That's the car all the way down in yellow and dark red, I would say. And then Pangraves in between with the green car down into turn 1. That's the roller coaster I was talking about previously that never runs, as it's not allowed to run. In the background, an iconic view, I would say. But Benjamin Baumann, at least he was able to keep that position into turn 1, and I think if he gets a good exit, he should be able to maintain that and even concentrate on Heike, who's a bit further up ahead with 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, it's tight racing down the back there. Tarek Adam back on the rear bumper as well, up in 8th position right now. He's chasing on Leto, very much tucked under the rear wing, seeing if he can try and maybe make a move here. They're going to be hard on the brakes in a moment. That's where he's looking, and just up the inside. See if he can squeeze through. Not really going to be enough. Had to back off a little bit there, which is why you see him disappearing, because he got a little too close to the bumper as they go up the hill through the Schumacher S.
Yeah, Mathis Letao is still able to keep 8th position away from Tarek Adam, but we also see Tavanari coming in the background, so the longer these two are fighting, the closer Tavanari will get. Latau a bit late there in terms of getting the car rotated, not really hitting the apex at all. Once again brings Tarek Adam back, and with 15 seconds, Adam is definitely not the one to wait. He wants to make a move fairly soon and then get away as far as possible. Maybe into the chicane now. Let's see. Latau tries to defend. Oh, Adam quickly looked up the inside, but it's the quick chicane. Not that easy as there's not much braking. If you use the shorter version, then it's a bit easier to overtake.
Look how close Tavanari is. He's gone wide. He's gone wide. I think Adam might let Tavanari through there. Adam went wide on the final corner, and it's brought Tavanari right on his bumper. He goes on the inside looking for a bit of grip down there. It's going to be a case of who can outbrake each other. Tavanari has to swing out. Adam goes defensive and actually buys time for Letao to just buy himself time, sitting very much in the middle of the track and being an absolute chicane for these guys to try and get past.
Yeah, he knows that if he goes a bit slower, then Adam first has to fight with Tavanari, as long as he just keeps the car on the track and kind of makes sure that they can't overtake in an easy way, because Tavanari is quicker than Tarek Adam right now, so they should soon start fighting, and that might give Latau a bit of air to breathe and just relax. Further down the pack, we got Jaroslav Honzik now on 14th, which means he got Florian Pangraves and sent him down to 15th. Benjamin Baumann would be up next. And you said it already, Lee. Jaroslav Honzik, he started in 3rd, so it should be absolutely fine and doable for him to get back. While everyone else also still fighting, so is Fazekas and Leo Boulay. And these two, I think they were fighting since the start of the race in nearly 20 minutes already.
Yeah, I was talking about, obviously, Honzik, you know, it's one of those things, right? You've been spun at the start and you're angry that you're not fighting for the actual race. But do you technically have more fun because you're taking over people down through the pack and working your way back up? I think that's going to be more fun of a race for him. 2nd and 3rd, actually very close to one another at the moment. That's Giglio and Razzieri also having a look at one another as they go down the start-finish straight. Obviously, just further down behind them is Boulay and Barnabas Fazekas, who are also tucked under each other's rear wing. And then if you go further down, we're obviously looking at later. I can see Tavanari right up behind Tarek Adam now. Let's see if he can make a move as they go into turn 1, the Yokohama, as Adam defends on the inside. Tavanari a little squirrely on the brakes there, wasn't he? And Adam will be able to hold the position.
Yeah, it's so easy, especially in the rain, to kind of overbrake and get the rear to wiggle around a bit. And it's totally fine in the dry, as long as you're not next to someone and you really hit the brakes hard and the car gets a bit stable in the rear and you just wait for it to hold the steering wheel straight. That's it. But it's a lot more challenging in a fight like this. And Tavanari lost out in here, lost a lot of time. But Fazekas and Boulay, they will go down into the Dunlop corner. Let's see if Fazekas can find a way. You can either do a single, late apex, or double apex on this corner. Fazekas, no way around so far on Leo Boulay, who's doing a great job at defending 5th position.
Yeah, so as we say, we've got multiple battles all across the field. 2nd and 3rd still fighting each other. Razzieri very much on the back end of Giglio. He's continuing to keep challenging there. Luke Addison having a bit of a drive of his own at the moment, so he's kind of got himself free of this battle because Boulay and Fazekas, as you say, are challenging each other. Fazekas right tucked under Boulay, really looking to try and make one of those moves stick sooner or later. And that's some intense pressure for Boulay to deal with, honestly, but constantly having to deal with it, and he should be fine. You know, these guys are very much experienced drivers. They've been here multiple times before. Also, Luick, by the way, completely on his own now. He's completely on his own.
Giglio just got attacked by Razzieri, but it seems like he was able to at least keep it for now. They had been side by side on the start-finish straight for quite a while. but Gianfranco Giglio, he will at least lead into the first sector.
Oh, he's dive bombed too much. Boulay is going to retake that position, so that is Fazekas and Boulay once again 5th and 6th. So again, torpedoing each other on the first corner there and just going in far, far too hot on the brakes and completely overrunning the apex, and that gave Boulay the position back just exactly the same as Ruggieri Giglio. Yeah,
it's like Giglio now knows that Ruggieri can do it and can make it happen on this track. It will be very interesting to see if Ruggieri goes for the same maneuver or if he tries to come up with something new while hunting down second position and then maybe getting a chance to get back onto Jordan Sheriff. But the difference is already more than 7 seconds between Jordan Sheriff, the current championship leader, and the rest of the field. So definitely not an easy task for none of these drivers.
Yeah, and while they're fighting like that, I mean, Jordan just gained 2 seconds in that lap alone while Ruggieri and Giglio were fighting. So the more they do this, the more that Jordan is likely to run away with this and start lapping back markers at this rate, because he absolutely will. Oh, Heikki having a move has got past Bryce. So Heikki has managed to get past up into 11th now. If you remember Heikki, we were watching back on turn 3, where he had that big out-braked himself, so he was a little out of position, so he's working up there. And you can see actually just further down the field, Jaroslav Honzik is slowly gaining on this pack of Benjamin Baumann and Emmanuel Bryce. So sooner or later, Jaroslav will be on them.
Fazekas still behind Leo Boulay. He's not giving up on getting into the top 5, that's for sure. Oh, mistake by Boulay into the last corner here. Lost a ton of momentum coming onto the stretch, but Fazekas had to also lift or maybe even brake to not run into the car up ahead. So they couldn't take the advantage out of it like he wanted to down into turn 1, not attacking on the inside. So both keeping it safe for now. Well, let's see what Fazekas can come up with. That is a long battle for these two already.
Further down the field, Tariq Adam once again all over later. This battle with obviously Tavanari behind him. It's going to be one of those moves he tries to make stick this time. Let's have a look. Can he get his car up the inside? I don't think he's going to have enough because he's going to be on the outside in the second corner. He's got to be very careful. Tavanari looking to try and squeeze between the two of them as Tariq Adam goes in a full-on drag race. He will be in position for this first corner down, slow it down, but then he's going to be on the outside and they knock each other. Tariq Adam off into the gravel and Tavanari will go through.
Yeah, Tariq Adam, unfortunately here on the loser side, I would say, got a small nudge. I think that's what we saw on the camera, and then couldn't keep the car under control anymore, off into the grass, back onto track, around 14th position. So once again, he needs to have a comeback. There's still 1.5 hours to go, so plenty of time, but very unfortunate for him. A great fight we saw for what, 3 corners, I think, maybe even 4, and unfortunately it all went sour.
Yeah, so our race leader at the moment is Jordan Sherritt, and it's only fair. Oh, hello, is this overtaken? It's going to be a dive to see if they can get through once again. Fazekas, has he made it stick in front of Boulay? No! Off goes Fazekas, spinning off into the gravel, and as he thought he'd made the stick peg, I couldn't tell whether he pulled in front of Boulay from the angle I was watching or whether he just simply wasn't quite past him and turned in and thought he was. But either way, it was a full pit stop maneuver.
Yeah, that did not really help, right? I think he tapped him a bit at the rear. Probably their braking points were not really synced as well as they could have been. And now he's right here in the group. And if you look at Fazekas' car, then it's not in showroom state anymore, that's for sure. The front end is a bit damaged. We see the hood bonnet. There's obviously no engine underneath because this car is a midship engine car. But yeah, not looking great, and his team is probably already preparing for repair.
Well, he's just going to go around the outside of Bryce here, or certainly try, along with Heikki. So he's very much fell into this battle where everything is happening. Honzik is actually just behind there, so he sort of fell in front of Benjamin Baumann. So he's actually pulled right into it. Tariq Adams also down there as well. Baumann's having a look at Fazekas. He has fell into just about the worst fighting pack on the circuit right now. Just about the worst place to be from, sadly, where he was up in 4th position.
Yeah, it's like he finds himself in a war zone, kind of, with everyone trying to make a move. Benjamin Baumann on to Barnabas Fazekas. That should work. Fazekas obviously with a bit of damage and seems to not be up to the pace that he had in it previously. And Jaroslav Honzik also closing the gap now that everyone is fighting. Track's still crazy, and it seems like the rain will not intensify for now. So everyone can just keep with their tire choice for now and just keep on racing.
Let's have a look at this then on the replay. This is Fazekas. It did look like he just turned in front of. I think they were maybe just, as you say, on the sink on the braking zone going into the chicane, and he kind of cut in front a little earlier and just simply caught off guard Boulay there. Whether it was a case of Boulay tapping in the back of him, not getting on the brakes quick enough, I don't know. Either way, Fazekas is very much amongst it, and we'll see. This is the first pit stop, I think.
Yeah, I think Fazekas tries to repair his car. He realized that he's not as quick anymore, and that gives Jaroslav Honzik another position, so he's up to 12 now. Ruggieri, though, still behind Giglio, and since we last saw these two, it's still the same fight, and nothing changed. So Giglio does a great job so far.
Something has changed further afield, though. Tavanari has got past Leto, so he's up into 7th position. So Leto finally succumbed, as it were, with obviously Tarek Adam out of the way. We saw, obviously, when Adam tried to make the move, and he ended up in the gravel. But Tavanari has got himself past. Tavanari, I believe, 7th in the championship overall, currently 7th in this race. So let's see what points he can get on there, because he needs to now put a bit of a chase on, because as you can see, he's got 8 seconds to gain on the next car in front of him.
Yeah, that will take a while, no matter how quick you are. You're not doing that as a side project, kind of. Ruggieri, he is, besides Jordan Sherritt, the highest placed driver in the overall championship in this race. He should be in 4th, if I'm not mistaken. And he's 3rd in this race, right behind Giglio. Giglio, I think that was 25th or something around there. But let's jump into replay and see how Letao actually lost that fight against Tavanari. So Tavanari, the greyish car at the rear, and then Letao is the car up front going into Dunlop corner. Was there a mistake happening? Yeah, Letao just overshot it. Did not manage to stick up to the apex there. And then all of a sudden, Tavanari was finally through. And even getting away if we look at the gap.
So Benjamin Baumann, he's keeping the pressure on. This little battle continuing to go with Letao basically holding them all up at the moment. Heikki is now back in position. Remember, Heikki was the one that went off trying to overtake these, about 10 laps ago now, I think it was, something like that. But Heikki's back in position. He wants to try and keep that move and see if he can stick. The rain is here to stay, it seems so far. I could see it's going to be there for another at least 30 minutes. So these guys are going to get used to this as Heikki continues to try and keep the pressure on.
Yeah, but like I say, it's still just like a few raindrops here and there. So the track's not wet enough to change onto wet tires. Nor does it create a lot of problems. It will get feisty once the rain intensifies, and we're right there at the limit of, do I stay on slicks? Is the tarmac warm enough so I can still run them? Or do I need wets to get through the water that might be standing on it? So let's see how it will evolve throughout the rest of the race, as we still have 1.5 hours to go.
Ruggieri staying in the race with Giglio, isn't he? Continuing to just stay there. It's very impressive, as you say, the fact that they are on these dry tyres. Oh, Giglio a little bit out of position there. Ruggieri had to go harder on the brakes than he planned, fighting the wheel a wee bit there to try and make sure he didn't plant himself in the back of him there. So just a little brake test, I think, from Giglioli to make sure he's okay. While that's all happening, Luke Addison, he's way further down the field, still a comfy position for him. Honestly, 7 seconds drift from Ruggieri, but 5 seconds ahead of 5th place as well. So he's having pretty much his own race at the moment, as it were. So no real pressure for him. Same with Leo Boulay, of course, after that challenge, and accident earlier on has put him a little further adrift though, and he is starting to gain. Speaking of gaining, what is going on there? Heikki and Bryce trying their best to fight it out once again as they all rattle through the chicane. They're going to be hard on the brakes now onto the main straight. Who's got the better position as these 5-car queue continues to challenge each other?
Yeah, they're all of a sudden creating a new big group, right? Letao lost out against Tavanari, but now he gets another big group of people that try to challenge him. And look at that side-by-side action once again down into turn 1. That's Bryce and Benjamin Baumann. Seems like Bryce will lose out here now on the outside. That's not really a great position. And we also see Jaroslav Honzik looking up the inside and really interested to figure out, hey, is there a place for me as well? But Bryce up the inside over the curb, and it seems like he will take down Benjamin Baumann once again, but he has to run right, and it brings Jaroslav Honzik back into this fight. Look at it, 3 wide coming out of the Mercedes-AMG arena, and in the end, it will actually be Baumann
in front of them?
leading.
Heikki and Heikki and Leteo's gone both off as well, so they challenged each other. We said this train was going to get entertaining, and it absolutely was. It's Benjamin Baumann that comes out on top with Jaroslav Honzik up behind him. They move up to 8th and 9th position, and this 6-car train now continues to absolutely deliver as they go up to the Schumacher S.
Yeah, it's incredible driving here, and good to see that Letao and Heikki didn't lost a ton of time. They're still within the group. They're the cars right at the end of it. So even though they lost all of these positions, they still see them and they can still fight to get them back. And with Benjamin Baumann currently leading, who isn't the quickest one in this group, at least for now, they will probably stay in. Let's see the contact between Letao and Heikki. So Heikki on the green car in the back and Letao up the front. Once again, Letao missing the apex, but Heikki wasn't much better, I have to say. Taps the rear of the Huracan and sends both into the grass.
Razzieri continues to keep on Giglioli, and that is 2nd and 3rd as they challenge each other. Nothing happening there, so we're going to keep our eye on this Benjamin Baumann pack now, as he is now the pack leader. Let's see if he can break away, because obviously he's been stuck behind them for a long time, along with Honzik, who obviously started in 3rd place in qualifying. Baumann's gone deep on that one. That's going to bring Honzik right into his rear wing. You can see Bryce as well. Miguel Bryce having a look at challenge to see if he can squeeze through. He's going to be aggrieved because he lost his position in this exact corner just a lap ago. Seeing if he can gain anything from this one. But yeah, Benjamin Baumann very much on the defensive there after making a bit of an error into the bend. And now Honzik really wants to improve and see if he can get better and better further up the field, because he was 3rd. He wants to get further up.
Yeah, you should have the roll pace to make it, right? It's just finding an opening here to move up and making sure that he's not ending up in the grass once again, as we saw a few drivers earlier and just a few seconds ago, while Baumann goes very wide into the Dunlop corner once again, not hitting the apex there, missing his braking mark, and that gets Jaroslav Honzik up to 8th. That's how easy it can be without any contact, although if I saw the rear quarter panel on the right, so passenger side of Jaroslav Honzik is not looking great anymore in terms of paint.
Yeah, if you remember, obviously he did get caught on that side and spun on that first lap, so that's where the connection was made. So it does put him past though, and that's what he was looking for. So now let's see if he can break away from this pack. He's slowly whittled his way through it from, I think he was down in 18th, wasn't he, from after the spin. He was very much down the back. So he's worked his way up to 8th position by hook or by crook, by overtakes, by various cars going off the track. Speaking of going off the track, Bryce very wide there. Tariq Adam chooses to make his move, but he is around the outside of the final bend, and that's not really going to be able to make it stick.
Yeah, Tariq Adam had to run white there on the exit, but he's right behind Bryce now as they both go into turn 1. Bryce on the right, Tariq Adam on the left. Let's see if Bryce might overshot the apex. That could have given a crossover maneuver. Yes, for Tariq Adam as he goes through. And he's... Oh, I thought he would get in front of Bryce, but that did not happen. But they're still side by side.
This is only going to go one way. Yeah, Bryce is got his car in position, as you say. Adam, I think he just about had enough to cut across, but he didn't want to just cut the nose off that Lamborghini and get himself in front of it, so had to be very cautious. We like that. That's fine. I don't want to see too many collisions. But don't forget, both these drivers fighting with penalties as well, 10 seconds and 15 seconds for the two. So still fighting for position. They'll be serving those penalties as and when they come in for the pit stops. Speaking of pit stops, obviously we did have one pit stop already served. And that was Fazekas. Fazekas has actually come in twice now, so he's down in 19th.
Yeah, but I think he... Did he already get his mandatory pit stop out of the way, though? Because we see that, like, Fazekas just went into the pits because of the stop-and-go penalty, 30 seconds. We saw that on the tower being lit up, so...
He also had damage, if you remember, from
I
from
think
that
they
third
didn't
place
do
challenge. Yeah.
they didn't do their mandatory pit stop just yet.
Yeah, outside the window, so just had to get that damage repaired. Razzieri and Giglio continuing to follow each other. And that's about all they're doing, because John Sherratt, once again, the race leader, is now 12 seconds ahead. Absolutely dominating this race, as he has the entire championship so far. Continuing to lap almost a second faster than anyone else at the moment out there. Everybody else doing 2 minutes, 2-minute ones. He's doing 1:59s quite happily. Just continuing to dominate. May actually go even quicker here. Maybe he's feeling it. Maybe he's thinking, you know what? My tyres are in the zone right now. This is where I could try and post another fastest lap. 1:58.6, incredibly, was his fastest. So he is, by his own standards, just casually driving at 1:59s.
Yeah, I mean, normally would say, like, why is he pushing that hard, right? But on the other hand, if that's the pace he feels... comfortable with right now, then just go with it, right? You want to be in the zone, you want to feel good about your driving. If you now try to artificially make yourself slower to be on the safe side, that will never work. You lose concentration and then you end up, might even end up with a crash. Heikki once again onto Letao, and once again Letao running wide, nearly opening the door, but Heikki wasn't able to squeeze his Lamborghini through just yet. So also a bit late on the brakes as they go down the Dunlop corner, but Heikki is the quicker driver for now, while we also see Tarek Adam both running wide, Bryce and Adam, and that got Adam through. He's now up to 10th.
Yeah, so the Dunlops, where a lot of the action's been continuing, hasn't it? There's a lot of mistakes down there at the moment, so certainly fantastic driving from these guys. I think they forgot that it's actually not a sprint race, it is a endurance race, although you did say 2 hours, not exactly a full-on sprint race, but definitely these guys, they are continuing to fight. It's been a very entertaining race at the Nürburgring.
It's a nice track. I tell people that all the time, right?
That's why you live there.
It helps a bit. That is a good track for sure. Although Nürburgring's also, like the Shippy track, not the easiest track for overtaking. Bryce and Tarek Adam, they're still fighting with each other, and they're not stopping. Adam, not with the best entry into the last right-hander, and that might give a chance to Bryce now. Looking up the inside. Letao, by the way, he gained the position from Heikki once again. They were just quickly on the straight, going back and forward, but Tarek Adam doesn't really have to defend here. Can easily get it in there. Nothing happened.
No, certainly very hefty curb he took there, that's for sure, unsettling the car. On the main chicane. Adam still continues to defend. As I say, both these cars running with penalties, so technically Letao will surpass both of these cars when they come into the pits, because they're both going to have to serve those longer penalties. So while Letao has lost positions, he's going to find himself back there once again, but he's got to fend off Heikki at the moment. And these two drivers, of course, already had one connection in that exact corner we just passed, and they've continued all the way. Let's see, Letao has gone pretty wide into this section a couple of times. Has he outbraked himself this time? No, he holds it perfectly inside the dip and swings it around nicely up to the Schumacher.
Yeah, up front, Tommy Ruggieri still looking to finally find a solution to the problem that is named Giglioli, by the way, not Giglio. Since he's still there, he's still hanging in on the rear bumper of Giglioli, but so far he could not really make the move, and he really wants to. He wants to get the points. He's sitting outside the podium on the overall standings. He's in 4th. And another good race here at the Nürburgring GP, with Seclari not being here, with Van der Velde not being here. He could move up the board, but for that, he also wants to pass Giglioli for a 2nd position so far. But Ruggieri, he will need to find an ace somewhere. A new idea maybe, a spark that innovates his attacks so far, because Giglioli defended massively well so far.
Yeah, and I gotta be honest, it's like Ruggieri, as you say, he hasn't really made some big attacks. We saw him making 1 or 2 attempts, but that's about it, really. And let's face it, you know, we've still got an hour and 20 to go here, so it's not like it's urgent right now for him to get past. He's just gonna basically hold station. If Giglioli does make a mistake, then Ruggieri will just happily go past. Speaking of happily going past, you can see on your screen once again the battles continue. Heikki holding on, but I don't know how much longer Leto is going to be able to keep him behind him.
Yeah, Leto is really struggling, especially on corner entry, and Heikki, the more stable and consistent driver, at least now. Once again, Leto has to defend the inside. Heikki can't find any way around him. Maybe down to Dunlop once again. That was the big spot where Leto always had a few issues the previous laps. Let's see, entry in, both on the brakes, but no. Leto did a good job there. Kept the car on the line and gave no chance at all to Heikki so far.
Yeah, Heikki very much keeping in position. Oh, didn't actually go as wide there as Leto. So Leto took the Schumacher crest just a little bit better, and that gave him a bit more purchase to find that gap. There's the corner that I always screw up on as well. As you see on your screens, Tarek, Adam and Bryce continuing to challenge. That's just slightly further ahead as well of that race. Let's have a look at Jaroslav Honzik though. Obviously we saw him get past Benjamin Baumann. He was caught in that. He's got himself a 2nd gap now to Benjamin Baumann. Slowly gaining back onto Tavanari as well. If you remember well, Honzik was sent way down into 18th position after being spun on the first corner from 3rd down to 18th. He's regained himself back up into 8th place, and he is gaining slowly but surely onto Tavanari. Tavanari just had a very loose lap, actually, 2:01.2 as opposed to a 2:04, a 2 minutes flat at 0.04, I should say, for Jaroslav Honzik there. So gaining a lot of time because of that.
Yeah, it's good to see that he still has the pace. The car seems to be all right. So I'll bet that Jaroslav Honzik will make it back onto Luca Tavanari and that we'll see another fight there. And so far, he didn't rack up any penalties. Well, we still have 3 active penalties, and we saw Fazekas, who was way further up the grid, also served a stop-and-go penalty already. So they hurt, and you will get them. If you can't behave on track, if you do things that you shouldn't be doing, then you will get penalties, and better stay away from it. That's what everyone tries to do. Giglioli and Ruggieri doing a great job in staying away from penalties, but a bad job in terms of staying off of each other. Shirosi does a good job staying off the track, it seems. Just went into the grass once again. Obviously, that's not where you want to be with your Huracán GT3, so back on him, but now down to 15th. And I'll think, though, that he did not lose any on that off, because I actually think he was 15th previously. He started in 17th. He started in 17th. He was in front of Pengrace, and now lost 1 position once again, down to 15th.
Yeah, so the real battlers at the moment is Miguel Bryce and Tarek Adam. They're continuing to chase one another in 10th and 11th, so hoping to try and break it back into that top 10. Bryce obviously lost that position. Tarek Adam was way further up, actually, before his many excursions off the track, all within, I think, the same lap, wasn't it? He went off a couple of times there, so it does happen. The concentration goes, and suddenly you find yourself drifting here, there, and everywhere. Giglio and Razzieri also very close to each other, but they have been for the entirety of the race so far. That is second and third. Giglioli definitely been holding a fine defensive performance, I think is the best way we can put it there, while also trying, and I do say this loosely, to keep Jordan Sherritt in check, who is well, almost 14 seconds up the road quicker now. And well, Jordan in very much a world of his own. And as I mentioned, Giglioli, you know, as he said, he felt he did the absolute perfect qualification laps and still found himself 0.4 of a second adrift to Jordan Sherritt. So, you know, the man is an absolute machine, Jordan Sherritt. There's no doubt about it. That is why he is the championship leader by a large margin and seemingly unchallenged this season.
Yeah, he's a great driver, and he proves that every single time we're here for the races. And so far, he was just absolutely flawless. Nothing happens to him, and he keeps the car on the track. He's not just that. He's not just keeping it going. He's also constantly doing amazing lap times. So he's the man to beat. He's just a great driver and an amazing talent, and there's a reason why he races for Team Redline, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Fazregas looking to try and regain some positions. I say that, he's just been lapped, actually, to the like, as he maybe looking to unlap himself on Loke here. It's possible. Fazregas, if you remember, was running in 4th position, has had to stop twice, had a stop-go penalty, and had some damage to his car, so he's repaired all that. He's just approaching the pit windows as well. So yeah, he's a long way adrift, but you know, fair play. He's still continuing to contend. It's great to see he hasn't decided to just leave the server and say, that's it, I'm done.
Now the gaps on track a bit bigger than they happened previously. Like, we had tons of fights and pretty big fighting groups, but now the closest is 0.7 of a second as Ruggieri, as it just tumbles down to 0.4 and 3 a second. Tommy Ruggieri still in 3rd, still lurking to get a better position on the podium, but Giglioli just yeah, a proper defensive wall, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. He's I mean, he's just driving his own race, right? I don't think he's even having to be that defensive right now, in fairness, because Ruggieri's not really, you know, he's keeping him in check, but I wouldn't say he's pressuring him too much. Yeah, he's staying right up behind him, which, by the way, is a skill in itself to stay this close for this amount of time, because your braking points will be slightly different than you ordinarily would. You have to brake a little bit earlier because you're obviously taking the drag from the car in front, etc. So that in itself is a skill that Tommy Ruggieri has done. I do feel that we've seen Tommy Ruggieri in this same position across multiple races. I've got to be honest. I don't know whether, I mean, he's certainly a very quick driver, or whether he struggles to maybe try and set up the overtake, you know, a lap or two in advance. Maybe try and start their mind games that some of the drivers can do.
We'll also soon then see if there's any drop-off. You know, normally we do 2 races when it's not an endurance event here in the Lamborghini The Real Race. And first race is 45 minutes, and then another one is an hour. So we just crossed the line for the 45-minute race, so normally they would have a break by now and then another 1-hour race. This time, it's 2 hours straight, so let's see if it changes in terms of the concentration they can bring to the track, and if we see maybe even time is getting slower.
At the moment, it is still very wet out there. I'm very interested, obviously. This is where the drivers are going to be seeing, is it staying wetter or not? Is it going to be that way? This is the race start, by the way. This is where, so keep your eye on the front there. You're going to see Jaroslav getting spun, got tapped. I think it's Tarek Adam that tapped him. That's where that 15-second penalty came from. That put him pretty much at the back, dead last. There's another spin and a couple of collisions. That's the one we didn't. I didn't see. I was so focused on the other. So 4 cars caught up in that as well, which has put a lot of people out of position. And then a couple of people going a little too deep on the corners overall. So that's where a lot of the action happened. That was way, way back, well, 50 minutes ago now when it all kicked off. And it absolutely kicked off because Since then, by the way, Jaroslav Honzik, who you saw getting spun out in that first corner, is back up into 8th. And look at this, the pit window is open.
Yeah, Heike's in the pits here, and Shiroshi also. I mean, so we're getting started now. I mean, we're nearly halfway through the race, so it's like normal that they start now coming in and getting a fresh set of tires. Probably everyone was waiting for if the track status will change, but track is still listed as Grazy, so not yet really viable to run the wets. So it should be fine for them to take a second set of slicks, and they do so, and Ruggieri once again right behind Giglioli, but it's not close enough. Look at that. It seems like on the straights, it's not really getting any closer. Like, is it down to the setup? Does Giglioli have a better car on the straight, and Ruggieri being a bit quicker on the in the corners?
Yeah, I mean, once again, he gets very close again, as you always obviously will going into the first corner, because it's a first gear corner. Everybody's hard on the brakes, but he has stayed pretty much consistently on the back of Giglioli, but really hasn't, as I say, made too many dives for it, which I'm fine to see. I don't want to see too much aggressive. I want to see overtakes, of course, but you don't want to see reckless overtakes and spearheads, which that corner absolutely is known for. A lot of people have torpedoed into the side of cars from that position. So he's kept it clean so far, and that is the perfect way to do it, because you know what? He might be able to end up doing an undercut or an overcut at the now that the pit window is open, and maybe simply get past him that way.
Yeah, I mean, the pit window will definitely help, right? If you can't make it on the track, maybe do it with your strategy. And this could pay off for Ruggieri, who has the experience to do such moves. But so does Giglioli, I would say. So it'll be very interesting to see if they come in early, or if one of them comes in early, or if they just stay like this and think like, hey, we're running in a train for so long by now. Let's just stick together and then make it till the end.
I'm just looking at Luke Addison, who oh, hello, Tavanari has just lost a couple of positions. What's gone on there? So he's gone off, so that puts Honzik and Baumann up. So he has had an off somewhere, because Tavanari was around about a second, 1.5 seconds ahead of Honzik. So we'll have a look at that in just a second to see what happened there, because obviously we were tracking Honzik chasing down Tavanari, but whether Tavanari, I don't think he was close enough to Leo Boulay to try and make a move, so we'll figure out what exactly happened there. What I was about to say is that Luke Addison is slowly being caught up by Loic here. He was kind of having a race of his own, but Loic's very much come into this one. Ironic that obviously the back marker's still in there. Let's have a look. Tavanari's off here.
That is Tavanari's rear wing. So looking at Honzik and he just
gone wide, yeah.
That should be Dunlop, and he just ran a bit wide there, coming slightly onto the grass, onto the curb as well, and then he tried to stay away from contact and had to let Jaroslav Honzik and Benjamin Baumann pass. So kudos to him there. Good on-track behavior, good respect to each other, but unfortunately it also costs 2 positions, and that's definitely not what you want to have midway through the race. Talking about that, Tavanari now in the pits. So another one getting rid of his pit stop.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously come in because, you know, the fact is he's just lost positions, etc. He may as well pit now because he's not going to gain that back. I do love the fact, by the way, that obviously Luke Addison are having this battle, and Fazekas is there. Despite the fact he's been lapped, we know he runs at a pace quicker than these guys, so he's like, I want to unlap myself, but I'm going to get blue flagged as soon as I overtake them, so I just need to sit and watch them race. Probably quite frustrated right now.
Yeah, it definitely is, right? And I think that our tower currently doesn't really want to play along, as everyone is still listed with 1 mandatory pit stop to go, but I can tell you, Fazekas, Strorosi, Heike, Calandrino, and Tavanari, that were the drivers that already pitted. So they are done with that. They will not have to do it again unless they get any damage. And it's crazy to see Ruggieri is so quick in sector 2 and 3, or even 1, But out of the last corner, he's always lacking in terms of speed compared to Giglioli, and that's why he's not making a pass.
Yeah, he went a little deep there as well, didn't he, Razzieri? And just trying to see if he could get in there. He started to drift a little bit. I just wonder if the tyres are slowly going off. I'm looking at lap times, and I can see that even Jordan Sherratt is doing 201s now. So definitely slowed down a little bit. He's just lapped a back marker. I say back marker because it was Heikki. Obviously, these guys have all pitted, but yeah, Jordan Sherratt is on another level than everybody else at the moment on this circuit, and very much going about his thing. There is the pit window opening, which is why it hasn't closed, because they were going in the pits and the window wasn't open.
Oh, okay. Absolutely lost track of the pit window. You're absolutely right here, Lee. And that means all of these drivers pitted for nothing.
Yeah.
They will have to come back in again, which means also Tovinari has to come in again. Wonder if that was down to damage that he picked up. So that's really surprising. Same for Heikki. I mean, Heikki, I think he didn't have any big reason, although he pitted for 49 seconds, 53 for Tovinari, 50 for Shirozi, and while Calandrino was only in for 3.5 seconds, so that's quite quick.
I mean, either way, it's a massive error for someone like Tavanari, who was obviously, you know, putting the pressure on there. Speaking of pressure, you can see on your screens, we have Tommy Razzieri coming into the pits. So now the pit window's open. This is what we're talking about. Is he going to go for the undercut? Will it pay off? Oh, Giglioli needs to put his foot down and see whether this is going to work out for Razzieri, because he's been stuck behind him for 57 minutes on the back of Giglioli.
Yes, it feels so bad as a driver. I know that feeling. You come into the pits and you saw him there slowing down, and he was still kind of with Giglioli before he really had to brake for the pit limiter line, and it just feels bad seeing him going away. Even if you think, oh, I might get the undercut done, still feels sad. It feels bad and it hurts. But let's see if it pays off in the long run.
Yeah, and this is going to be very interesting. Addison Boulay also coming in, which is why we see Yaroslav now back running in third position, actually where he started. Now, the question is, if he runs long and goes to the end of that pit window and looks to get a stop there, is that going to benefit him? He's got quite a bit of clear track, but he was quite a long way behind still in terms of time on all of those cars. But we'll see whether the long run, and speaking of long runs, Jordan Sherratt often does run long. So we'll see whether he runs as long as he can as well with his pit window, still with another 7 minutes open. Razzieri is coming out.
Talking about pit window, yeah, it's kind of busy now. Look at this. Everyone standing there. So if you ever wanted to see a Lamborghini Huracán GT3, then you should be in the virtual world here, up there, the VIP areas, and have a look now as everyone came in to get rid of their mandatory pit stop. By the way, I gave the wrong pit times, so just to get that right, it was Calandrino standing 1 minute and 19 seconds. Longest one was Shirozi, 1 minute 36. And quickest stop so far was actually Fazekas, but that was very early, so that was not his mandatory pit. He already visited the pits twice. That was 1 minute 13 seconds. So now, with a few drivers getting green, we come into the time of where strategy pays off and or doesn't pay off, while Tarek Adam...
I was actually looking at Miguel Bryce, who's come out in front of Jordan Sherratt out of the pits. Yeah, Sherratt rightfully flashing his lights and saying, get the hell out of the way, because Miguel Bryce just absolutely cut his nose off in turn one, and definitely caught Sherratt off guard there. Yeah,
I mean, Jordan Sherratt, sometimes I'm not even sure, does he need to turn on other cars when playing? Could he go down to visible cars 1? Because normally, if he's not lapping, then he wouldn't see any other cars, right? So he could save the resources here.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously, without stopping, obviously he's lapped his way very much up half the field already. So very much, I think he was 17 seconds ahead of Giglioli before Giglioli went into the pits. So that's how much of a gap he has gained. And as I say, John Sherratt often will run very much as long as he can. Yaroslav Honzik also in the pits, by the way, so I don't know whether he's gained too much there. I'm watching Razzieri go past right now. Giglioli coming out of the pits. That means Razzieri has done it, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to get him up into second place. The undercut has paid off, and Giglioli is going to see him pull across in front of him, and his heart will sink. 57 minutes defending that second place, all gone in a pit stop.
Yeah, it's exactly what we're talking about, right? Like Razzieri, he was not really attacking furiously, nor did Giglioli really have to defend that often. I think there have been 2 or 3 maneuvers in total, but rest was Razzieri just cruising behind Giglioli, and now we know why, because he managed to really raise his pace on the outlap, while Giglioli was a bit slower there, and not having to hammer down basically for his last lap, and he had to drop down to 4th now. With that, Tommy Razzieri up to 3rd. Obviously, he should be up to 2nd by now, but there is Pangraves in between, who did not pit just yet.
Well, Jordan Sherritt's come in, that's for sure. I think Pangraves is the only one out there now that has not pitted, so Jordan Sherritt got to go all the way down to the end of the pits before he can stop, so having to go a long, long way. As I say, Pangraves still the only one to go. Let's have a look at this off here. I didn't see who it was. Was it Boulet? I think it was Boulet I just heard. So had a bit of an off. Let's have a look as he's going up into... Oh, it's that chicane, isn't it? It's the final chicane. Whoop! Yep, caught too much of the curb and then over collects it and then just simply off into the grass.
Yeah, it's not easy. That's the Ludwig Teller I was talking about on the intro of the show, like this round-shaped curb up the middle on top of the other curb, and since the car is already very unbalanced, right, the left tires are still on the flat surface of the track, while the rest of the car is on the first curb, and then even goes higher. You sometimes even bottom out on the left side, and things like that can happen. You spin out.
Absolutely. So Jordan Sherritt, he's done his mandatory pit stop. He's come out 16 seconds, give or take, ahead of Tommy Razzieri. As I say that, Fazekas trying to make a challenge here. This is a battle for 16th. Not where Fazekas probably planned to be with everything that's happened, and absolutely a much quicker driver, so he will no doubt make that stick and work. So easy job for him. Fazekas, of course, was running in 4th position before his connection earlier on with Leo Boulet.
Yeah, he's trying to have that comeback, and he's in 16th. Let's see how much he can still do with roughly an hour on the clock. Will be interesting. We still have, like, right behind Luke Addison, has to defend now into sector 2. So close to getting, still running the Vipers. Still, the track is crazy, so rain did not intensify, did not get any heavier, and everyone can still run this legs. It's just a bit more slippery.
Has Honzik had an off somewhere? I feel like he must have, because I see that Tavanari and Benjamin Baumann are all ahead of him now, who he was ahead of during the pit stop. So either he had a really bad outlap. If you remember, they all came in a little bit earlier. Really bad outlap, or he's had some sort of off. He must have had an off. Luke Addison under pressure from Loic there, 5th and 6th position right now. This is a battle that's been going before. If you remember, before the pit stops even happened, that Addison was slowly being gained on here. So clearly out in the rain. Van Eycken, Loic absolutely loves this track right now, because he is getting faster and faster as the circuit stays. As I say that, he takes a big chunk of that curb.
I love how they actually jump over the curbs, while Florent Pangraves now comes into the pits as well. He was, for a short time, 2nd, while not being in the pits, but now obviously has to do his mandatory pit stop. So does Heike, by the way, who did one earlier out of the window. So let's see when he comes in, because the window closes in 1 minute and 12 seconds. So he better make it over to the pits now. He does so. So all good. That means all of our drivers besides Tavanari are done. Tavanari, where's he on track though?
He's currently running in 6th, so he's doing a fantastic job.
Yes, but wait. Let me jump into the cockpit. This is the Mercedes-AMG Arena, and he only has 50 seconds on the clock, so Tavanari won't make it within the pit window.
Oh, yes, he's not pitted, because I'm looking at the board and saying he's pitted. But yeah, I was wondering how he was running so high up there. So, yeah. So he's going to... What, it's a DNF? If he doesn't do a pit stop, that's a DNF. I mean,
must be.
I just wondered whether... oh, no, I'm thinking of a driver swap, actually. I'm thinking of a driver swap. It's the mandatory driver swaps. It's the mandatory pit stop. Yeah, so it'll be a penalty towards the end there. I just wonder, because if you remember, he obviously pitted about 5-10 minutes before the pit stop happened. So I do just wonder whether, you know, he's just thinking, you know what, I'm just going to eat the penalty and blast it as fast as I can. And we'll see how much of a penalty it serves.
By the way, we got the information of race control that Honzik actually got new tyres, but it seems everyone else stayed out on the same tyres. Oh. And that's why his pit stop, let's see his pit stop, Jaroslav Honzik, where is he?
Yeah, because he's lost 2 places because of it.
Yeah, so only 4 cars changed tyres. Honzik took 1 minute 29, while most of the grid ranges around 1:13 to 1:16. So that's where he lost all the time. It's over 10 seconds for his team to change the tyres. And so far, that did not pay off. Maybe in the later half of the race. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see whether obviously the newer tyres helps him out. He's, 6 seconds adrift of Leo Boulay and Benjamin Baumann. Of course, Boulay running out of position because of obviously the offing he had, which is where Tavanari and Baumann gained those places. As we say, Tavanari pending penalties for him. Ironic that Fazekas is still running up here. He's the back marker that they're not going to catch, I feel, as he continues to try and unlap himself as best he can. But it's going to be a lot of work to do there. Ooh, Tommy Razzieri, look at this. Now he's got a bit of free time. He breaks the 2-minute barrier on his last lap there, 1:59.8. His fastest is a 1:59.1. So now that he got past Giglioli, there is a clear gap there that was obviously formed from the pit stop. But now he's got a bit clear air. It seems he's finding a bit more pace. Unfortunately for him, as you can see, he is, 17 seconds adrift from Jordan Sherritt, our current race leader.
Yeah, it's like, I really love that it paid off for Razzieri. He did a great job following Giglioli so close the entire race. Which, as we know, it's a hard challenge already, and if a driver can do that, I should not talk about Razzieri while watching him. It kind of looks like he might spin out. Luckily, you catch the car there coming out of the chicane. But yes, he did a good job. He was following Giglioli so closely without any major mistakes, so he deserves getting the undercut here. But
oh, Loic just ran wide on the grass there. That was down in 5th place. Yeah, he just completely missed a chunk of the chicane over the grass he went, and that put him out. I was just wondering, like, how is he now 2 seconds adrift from Luke Addison? Because he was very much on the back of him. But I think we're seeing why. Maybe some of them should have changed those tyres. Who knows?
I mean, we still got 52 minutes to go, right? So it will change a lot in how the car feels and how comfortable they are and how yeah, I say that. Forgot the word there. You know, when you sure about yourself. Man, what a day. You know what I mean, right?
Well, it's a wet day. That's what it is.
No. Like when you feel sure about what you're doing.
Confident?
Confident. That was the word.
That was the word.
Thank you very much, Lee. That's why you are native English and I'm not.
Well, I was confident in looking around the track. I was busy. I was busy scouting the cars to see what was happening. It does seem that a lot of people after those pit stops have kind of spaced themselves out. There's not too many chasing packs yet. It'll probably be another couple of minutes before people sort of regain those positions and get close to one another again.
It's definitely more spaced out, that's for sure. We see gaps of like 32 seconds in between some. Most range around 5.
Not so far. It is very much positions as I say. I'm looking through and you can see the gaps between everyone. There's some 5-second gaps in there as well. Honzik very much on his own now, down in 9th with 5 seconds between the guy in front and the guy behind. So Miguel Bryce clear of that one. Obviously he was battling with Tarek Adam, but again, that's another 5 seconds behind him. I guess Letao maybe is somebody that could be challenging a little later on. He's only around about 2 seconds behind Tarek Adam, but then we're looking at a huge gap, a 33-second gap between 12th and 13th as it drops off. Roman Lipins, by the way, you know, I may have made a little bit of fun out of his photo earlier on, but he's actually gaining a bit of positions here. But look at this, Jordan Sherratt has now lapped up to 16th place, so he's working his way through the field and tracing down Calandrino will be his next focus target, as I see Jordan Sherratt very much approaching his rear wing.
Yeah, it's like Jordan Sherratt is just going through this this field now like it's absolutely nothing. He has to lap a few drivers, and he still has 49 minutes to do so. So it will be very interesting to see if everything goes right there. Obviously, we want him to stay in control of the race because so far it's just an incredible drive once again. But it's racing. Everything can happen at every time. Talking about things that can happen. Let's have a look what happened to a few drivers that we did not have on screen that often. For example, Romain Lipins currently in 14th. Best lap time, 2 minutes 1.1. And his last is relatively close to that. So doing a good job there, even after more than an hour now of keeping the consistent pace.
Yeah, blue flags waving for Calandrino. Get out of the way. The race leader is on your back. And Jordan Sherratt with a bit of flashing as well, just to say, do you mind getting out of the bleeding way? I am coming through. Yes, do not be disparaged. They are in the same race liveries. Calandrino does exactly that. Pulls to the side, and through goes Sherratt. Now up into the back markers. Roman Lipins, as you say, is the next on his shopping list.
Yeah, I'm absolutely sure everyone will get out of the way quite quickly. That shouldn't be an issue at all. Leo Boulay, by the way, still in 8th. We were expecting a bit more from him, I would say, in this race.
We got roles reversed, right? We know that Ruggieri did it in the pits, but now Giglioli is all over his back. So, yeah, well, let's see how Ruggieri could do for the next 50 minutes with Giglioli. Is Giglioli going to be as patient, I wonder? Because there was a bit of a gap here that has fallen away, it would appear. So Giglioli definitely gaining. Obviously, yes, he's getting the drag, obviously, down the straight, so that's helping him out to get that pull effectively. But yeah, now let's see what sort of defensive performance that Ruggieri can put in.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see these two going at each other again and again. And as you said, roles reversed this time. Ruggieri did an amazing job following Giglioli closely. Let's see if Giglioli can do the same without any touch on the back or spinning out himself. Obviously, it's dirty air. The visibility is way lower. I mean, look at this. Even on the cockpit shot, right? You're not seeing the same markers. The distance now is kind of okay because you will see the marker still soon enough to brake. But once you get a bit closer than that, like 0.4 of a second, roughly there, it gets really, really hard to know when to hit the brakes.
Yeah, and to put it in perspective, Giglioli was actually faster than Jordan Sherratt in that last lap. So that's how much he's gained within that lap. Half a second alone on Ruggieri in that last lap, which is why we're seeing him very much on the back of him. So it's great to see roles reversed because Giglioli will be frustrated. He went a lap longer on the pit stop, and that's where Ruggieri managed to overtake him. Obviously, it could vary on how much fuel they put in the car there. So whether Ruggieri is maybe running a little leaner and didn't put as much fuel in to try and get that extra second or something. But Giglioli absolutely is smashing it right now. No doubt about it. The fastest driver out there in the first sector right now as well.
Yeah, he's doing a great job, and I love to see that after over an hour, right? So it seems like he's not getting dragged down by losing the position due to the pits, to the pit visits here to Ruggieri. Instead, he kind of plays his game and now finds the confidence and finds the speed now to up the pace and doing a good laps after another. So let's see if he can also really take down Ruggieri here.
Absolutely. This is where the racing happens. We'll see whether he can continue it. Miguel Bryce having a little race of his own. Not too sure why the camera decided it wanted to take me there. I will stick to Ruggieri and Giglioli as you have as well. It's where the action very much is. I'm just looking further down the field while they do keep each other into check to see whether anything's happening. Yes, Benjamin Baumann. He is gaining on Luca Tavanari. So Tavanari, we know, is going to have a penalty coming up at some point, but Baumann very much gaining. Oh, he's gone way too deep on that on the Dunlop there. That's going to put him out a little bit, but he's still very much tucked in behind Tavanari as they come up to the Schumacher S, and he is gaining ground.
Yeah, I think Tavanari is losing a bit of pace right now, and Baumann just doing a good job now, seeing his chance and immediately reacting to it, up in the pace once again, and look how close he gets here in the third sector. So it looks like Tavanari will feel the pressure really, really soon if he's not feeling it yet already. Nearly Baumann dropping a tyre into the gravel trap. Luckily he didn't. And we also know Tavanari is without a pit stop, right? So without an official one. So Baumann, if he gets the track position, that's fine, but he would get the position one way or another as long as he stays close up to Tavanari. Wow.
Yeah, just
what a dive into it.
Different routes being taken into the final corner there. But Baumann now with a real chance. Tucked under the nose. There we go. Let's see. Is he going to make it work as they go into the Yokohama S? Hard on the brakes up on the inside. Is it going to be enough to work? Is going to be the switchback potentially for Tavanari? No, he's made it stick. A great overtake for Benjamin Baumann.
Yeah, definitely looked absolutely nice here by the Swiss driver, and Tavanari's it's just not his race, right? He had several penalties. He missed the mandatory pit stop now as well, so it's one to forget for him. Well, luckily there are still a few races, right? We'll visit Catalonia next. We will be in Silverstone right after, and then another 2-hour race in Spa before we head over to Misano. So a lot of good tracks still available, I would say, for the big points. And for Tavanari, that might be a chance. Calandrino behind Roman Lippins right now. It seems like he used Jordan Sheriff to follow up and ensuring that he can also close the gap to the Frenchman. And Lippins now will not have an easy task of keeping Fabio Calandrino behind. It's like Fabio's pace looks a ton quicker right now than Lippins. And yeah, Lippins gets out of the way. And that's it. Probably getting it done before the braking zone, I would say. Should be enough. He's down on the left and, yep, under braking. Calandrino passes. Lippins down to 15th.
Yeah, nicely done. Smooth as you like. And as you say, I think Lippins almost moved out the way for him there. If anything, certainly made it nice and easy for him. For Jordan Sherratt, as I say, lapped up into 14th already. He's got a bit of a time now to gain on the next man along. Fairhat's way up in 13th. Once again, oh, look at this. Ruggieri under pressure from Giglioli. Has he gone a little wide in the arena? No, just manages to hold on. Giglioli's looking for the switchback here to see if he can force Ruggieri to go defensive, but he's not. He's staying positive in the middle of the road. He's had 57 minutes to see exactly how defensive Giglioli can be. He knows exactly where to park that car.
Yeah, it will be very interesting now if this reverse battle can find a new winner. Then I really thought Ruggieri will just run away with it after the great undercut he did during the pit window. But now with Giglioli really coming alive once again with his Huracan right behind, I'm not so sure if we will see Ruggieri on second on the podium there, or if it could be Giglioli, or maybe someone else. I mean, if these two fighting again, they still have to remain on track and out of trouble.
Now, I mean, Luke Addison's a good 8 seconds behind them, isn't he? Actually, make that 15 seconds behind them, so he's a long way down. Speaking of, Luke actually just went pretty wide at the Dunlop there. That's Loic's just behind him, but he's still some way back, so no too much pressure there. And then, of course, you've got Benjamin Baumann, who's even further adrift. He's another 7-8 seconds behind Luke Addison, etc. So what's that? Adds up to about 20+ seconds behind Ruggieri and Giglioli. This battle that's happening here. So they've got plenty of time. Obviously, they don't want to go off the track too much, though. That's for sure. They don't want to go off the track at all. Let's face it.
Yeah, it's like I really hope they stay on it, right? I mean, they're giving us a great fight here to watch, and that's exactly what we want. Great sim racing here in the Lamborghini The Real Race. And Tommy Ruggieri still up front. Giglioli still right behind. Giglioli to the outside now. Might even want to get the cross done. Can he do that here? Look at them all of a sudden. Once again, they're side by side, but not enough overlap for Giglioli to really be a threat into the long left-hander when they enter the arena. Oh, that dive! Look at that! This touch on the rear quarter panel, and Ruggieri stays up front. I think Giglioli did not really want to.
Oh, but it's a bad exit from Ruggieri.
Oh, wow. Look at that racing. Giglioli now on the outside for the next corner. Ruggieri trying to cover up the inside. What can they do? Can Ruggieri actually stay ahead? They once again touch. Giglioli nearly going wide, but he should be in a better position just up right now. Hopefully they're not touched on the rear quarter panels. They don't, but Ruggieri still up ahead. Look
side by
this.
side, coming down to the Dunlop. Ruggieri has to get his positioning right here, and he does. Hits the braking point, but oh my word, some side by side racing throughout there. Absolutely fantastic. All the way up to turn 10, side by side. So some incredible racing from these two. A couple of little love taps, I think it's all you can say. Rubbing his racing and all that. I'm not too sure how much more rubbing these Lamborghinis want to take, though, that's for sure. But Giglioli absolutely putting on more of a show than Ruggieri did for those first opening hour.
Yeah, it's incredible what the drivers put on for us now. And as I said, the conditions are not easy. By now, they're sitting more than 1.5 hours in these cars, probably with free practice and everything in the previous sessions, roughly 2 and more. And they're still putting on such a good show. And Giglioli, he's not done yet. Look at him. He's once again locked onto the rear of Ruggieri. And I think he will be able to soon start another attack.
Let's have a look at Jaroslav Honzik, because he has passed Boulay here. Let's have a look at how this has paid off for him. So that's Boulay, who obviously had an error before. And oh, it's going to... He's clattered that corner once again, hasn't he? Clattering the exit, and look at that. Beautiful. Yeah, Boulay just goes way too deep, and through goes Honzik.
I'm not quite sure if Boulay really went that deep looking at the exit. I think he saw that Honzik aimed up the inside, and he just decided to not block that. There was a chance for him to defend this. I think he wasn't late on the brakes. I might be wrong, but I think that was just him opening the door and being like, okay, Jaroslav already is on the inside. He really wants to go for it. I'm not taking the risk here, and I'll just open up.
And just let him through, yeah. Well, I mean, he's got 2.5 seconds over Boulay already, so Boulay, whether he's carrying damage or what, I don't know. Obviously, we saw him having that off after the pit stop, so we'll see how that works out. There is... now, he's got Tavanari ahead of him as Honzik. It's 7.7 seconds. Now, don't forget he's going to be carrying a penalty because he didn't make the compulsory pit stop. So we'll see how much of a difference that will be. Meanwhile, on your screen, of course, this battle continues. Now, the interesting thing is they did obviously have some back markers earlier. The next one's 12 seconds up the road, which will actually be Heikki, the green Lamborghini. So Ruggieri and Giglioli can continue to challenge each other unimpeded for a short while.
Letao now right behind Tarek Adam and deciding to go to the outside as Adam was covering up inside. Not a chance then to do it on the exit of Dunlop. That's really, really hard. Someone has to screw up the entire corner if you want to make a move there. And that's definitely not Tarek Adam doing it. So let's see how long he can stay there. Letao is definitely pushing. He seems to be a lot quicker than Tarek Adam right now.
Yeah, and it's interesting, right? Because obviously we saw at one point Tarek Adam working his way through the field, and he was running further ahead than these guys, and Leitao was the man holding them up. He was the man in front of that 6-car train that it all went pear-shaped, and there was 2 accidents in one where it all happened. But yeah, Leitao definitely keeping that pressure onto Tariq Adam. This is what we're talking about. Obviously, we were waiting for the cars. They were all strung out, but sooner or later, we're going to start seeing these challenges. While this happens, Giglioli and Ruggieri continue also to be very much bumper to bumper.
Yeah, these two are still going at each other, and the same for Leitao and Adam. We just saw it there. Leitao had a great run into the last corner, but it wasn't really enough to start anything. And so far, Tariq Adam still capable of holding on to position 11, number 69 car. But for how long? It's still 35 minutes. I mean, that's not a short amount of time to defend, I would say.
Yeah, Luke Addison also has been caught up as well, so Loic up behind him now. So there's 3 battles sort of down the line at the moment, if you were, that are starting to slowly bubble up and come to fruition. Ruggieri being the main one, the podium battle, as we say. Giglioli continuing to keep the challenge, does a little look into the chicane, not going to be able to make it work there, trying to almost force Ruggieri to have an error, if you were, but Ruggieri very much keeping to the racing line.
Oh, Luke Edison against Loic, look at that, into the chicane, and I think I saw Loic previously flashing his lights. Not sure what happened there when we just jumped right there. But yeah, Edison seems to have done a mistake. That's what race control saw, and lost a ton of time, and all of a sudden Loic is right behind him. So go down to turn 1. Look, Edison quite interesting, going all the way to the wall there, making sure that Loic can't find a way around. Maybe into the turn now with a cross. No, that won't work. And at least for now, Luke Edison can stay on 4th.
Yeah, very hard with the cross there, isn't it? Because you have such a big runoff section that Addison can basically just floor it and make sure he can at least stay alongside, and knowing that he will be on the inside on the next section. So great defensive work once again there. As we say, these battles all starting to slowly bubble up as well now as we look further down. Tariq Adam with Leitao, he's also closing in on him as they go into Yokohama, hard on the brakes. Aratham will be able to hold that one steady as you were.
Yeah, like Tariq Adam looks solid, and I think that it will be very hard for Matthias Leitao to find a way in the remaining 33 minutes unless Adam is running out of concentration, I would say. Loic also still looking for a chance to really attack Luke Edison. That was 4th and 5th, the battle that we saw previously, while Giglioli is now down to 0.7 of a second between him and Tommy Ruggieri. So we have our small little groups here with 2 drivers each, as the rain still did not increase. I have to say that, Eiffel weather, they got quite lucky here to only have a bit of rain where you can still run these tyres.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, keeping with the dry tyres on this. That's something for you guys at home that may be watching this. Just keep your eye on these guys. That's what they're doing. They're running with the dry tyres. Ruggieri just a little bit wide on the exit there. Giglioli, though, don't think he's quite close enough to have an entry into the... Once again, it's Ruggieri being defensive. Giglioli trying to go around the outside. Very deep around the outside. If he can hold the line, he cannot. He's trying to get his car, half a car in front of Ruggieri there. Once again, looking for the switch. But Giglioli being way more aggressive. Look at this. Going to try and run it wide and switch in. Ruggieri, though, keeping himself perfectly in position to hold him at bay. But... I think we're seeing a far more aggressive Giglioli than we saw from Ruggieri challenging for that 2nd place.
Definitely, Giglioli's really trying, and Tariq Adam gets a little tap on the back from Leitao, and that sends him into the gravel trap. Very unfortunate what we saw here. Leitao up to 11th, and that was just a different speed there on the brake, and I think none of them really missed their mark. It was just a difference in style for that corner. Unfortunately, that means Tariq Adam is out. He's back in the pits, and I think he retired.
Yeah.
So, very unfortunate there. Tariq Adam had a great race. A great race. He brought us great action. His race was fairly bad for himself. He thought he had a good start, and then all of a sudden,
he's been involved in a lot of incidents, let's put it that way. Not all of them his own fault, that's for sure. But yeah, unfortunate to see him retire in there. Back to the action at hand, which means obviously we have this battle. Second and third and fourth and fifth, all challenging one another. Giglioli once again having another little peek into the chicane there, trying to force Razzieri to go wide, but he is running pretty much the perfect line, as it were, to try and keep himself in position and stop Giglioli getting past. Holds himself a perfect apex on the exit there. And Giglioli's just going to have to be a passenger. We'll see whether once again he has a look as we look further down the field. Addison and Loic also running the same corners, not too far behind us. Oh, Giglioli sending it deep onto Razzieri. A little nudge on the front of Razzieri as well, but Giglioli puts his car in front and has made it stick.
Yeah, it's always hard to judge that one, right? I mean, he definitely ran wide because he was super late on the brakes, and he tapped Tommy Razzieri. Although, it didn't look too bad, right? That was a minor tap, but without the tap, he would never made it to stay in front because Razzieri had to cross the line of Giglioli there once again. But yeah, that's heart racing that we see here, and Giglioli managed, after losing second spot during the pit stops, to Razzieri, who did a great job there on the undercut. He's now back in second position, and he has to hold on for it for half an hour.
Yeah, and that's the hard part now. Can he be back defensive? Is he going to be as aggressive? Oh, Loic and Addison continuing to also battle as well. Addison still holding on. Ironic that Fazik's having a look here. Let's have a look at the replay.
Yeah, that is Giglioli against Razzieri, so we are on board with Giglioli. And I wonder, did he dive once Razzieri was braking? Yes. See, it was braking a lot later, but Razzieri also left the door wide open for him. And it just kind of sent it down there. I mean, both survived that. Well, we have side by side, Loic against not Tommy Razzieri, Luke Addison it is. And they were side by side for already 2 corners. Now Loic had to once more step back, and behind him, that is not Baumann. That's a lapped car, so he will not get involved. But this fight is also heating up. But yeah, I have to say, Razzieri, I understand that he will not be happy with being tapped there at the exit of the corner. On the other hand, you can't be more inviting into a hairpin than that. That was basically someone inviting entire family and everyone they know to Christmas and just leaving the door open 24 hours.
Yeah. Frustration for Fazik's, no doubt about it, running obviously in 18th. Basically behind this battle of Addison and Loic. He is faster than both of them. He was running faster than both of them, but he can't get involved in this battle, and he's just having to sit right on their bumpers. 5-second penalty for car number 27. That is Leitao. So that is either running wide or cutting somewhere along the line. For
I think that was the tap.
Oh, the Tarek Adam, yes, it is.
On Tarek Adam, yes. Yeah, that will make sense. Because it wasn't a big one. I can understand that it's not a bigger penalty because Tarek Adam could have probably continued. I don't think that was down to that much. Look how close Loic gets to Luke Addison here, really diving underneath his rear diffuser, and has to set Farrakas right behind, kind of just running with them, being part of the show, I would say.
Jordan Sherritt taking another back marker in a second, flashing his lights, blue flags waving, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. With a bit of luck, Calandrino already out the way. That is Fairhat, so Fairhat will just move over to the side, and through goes Jordan Sherritt, the race leader, now lapping up into 12th place. Absolute domination we're seeing from Jordan Sherritt, but the next car up the line is, 38 seconds ahead. I don't think he's going to do that in 26 seconds, so I certainly hope not.
I mean, you never know. You never know. But yeah, it will be interesting to see. I'm super happy that we still have fights here on the track, and that the rain actually kept going in the same way. Although, I would have loved, if I could reimagine our 2 hours, would have loved to start greasy, go really, really wet, and now for the last half an hour, get a drying ideal line. I think that would have given us an even better race, although this one was already more than entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, considering what it could have been, and we knew that Jordan Sherritt was going to run away with it. I mean, he has done throughout the whole championship. Oh, Fazekas is like, look, this is where you make the move. He's just sort of showing them the way. It's like, I could have overtaken you there, but I chose not to.
Yeah, I mean, it's great from him as a driver that he does not get involved in this fight for 4th and 5th now, because he could, right? As he said, he's quick enough. He could easily take down Loic and Edison in terms of raw pace. And it's good to see that he stays out of this and leaves it to the two drivers to settle this fight themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a battle that's going on. He's just having to be a very close spectator, I think is the best way you can put it there. But at the moment, Luke Addison doing a great defensive job. The fellow South African of Jordan Sherritt in 4th place right now. Has had a couple of moments himself, but as I say, has generally throughout the championship been running very well. And this is going to be some great points for him. If you think about it, obviously Razzieri certainly will be gaining. He was 4th in the championship, currently running in 3rd place on the podium. So despite the frustrations of being behind Giglioli as they go past, I think that's Roman Lippens actually, they've just passed there. Giglioli and Razzieri. It does mean that Razzieri he's backed off a little bit from Giglioli. I think he's realised that this move is not going to stick.
Yeah, it's like at one point it's about making sure that you bring home those points, and maybe he thinks that's a time now to just look and see, to maybe launch an attack at the end of the race once again. Love how Loic is flashing Addison. I wonder if that was more like, look, there's someone behind us who's a lot quicker. That looks embarrassing. Can we keep going? But yeah, it's a proper fight, and Farrakas just does an amazing job behind them. None of them are slow here. It's just Farrakas shouldn't be in the position he is right now. He's not even running slipstream.
Yeah, he's purposely just like, come on, guys. It's just like, I mean, obviously the fact is they're fighting, so they're always going to be a little bit slower. That's a deep one for Addison. I can see Loic. I don't think he's going to be out of a chance here because he's going to be further out on the outside. Yeah, Addison should be in plenty of position to defend once again as they go around the arena. And yeah, Fazekas is almost just like, you know, I don't need slipstream. I'm just waiting for you guys to get faster. I can't go quicker because you're not going quicker. While this is all happening, look in the distance. Benjamin Baumann, 4 seconds behind. Can he do it? Can he get involved? 23 minutes to go. It's possible. He's gaining, isn't he?
Yeah, it's definitely enough time, right? If we're on board with him right now, Benjamin Baumann here, the number 26, and you see it, he has the fighting group clearly in front of him going down to Dunlop Corner. But I wonder the pace difference. Let's see, what was his last lap? So last lap of Luke Addison was a 2:01.0, and last lap of Baumann was a 2:0.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is a bit more than half a second.
Yeah, he's definitely gaining. There's no doubt about it. The question is, how close will he get? Unfortunately, it means that Fazekas needs to get out of the way because he's going to get blue flagged again. And while he's basically running on the bumper of Loic here, which I guess is actually probably quite frustrating for Loic, wouldn't you say, in this battle to have basically what is a back marker. You know it's a back marker, but you're almost like, is he going to hit me? He's really close right now. Oh, hello, who's this?
Sharozi side by side with Romain Lippens into turn 1, both a bit wiggly there.
Ooh,
and
yeah.
Gabor Sharozi, he is through up to 15th, and then the French down to 16th. And called like race control really on point today. And
so you got the calculator out.
Yeah,
What's
they
going
got
on,
3 calculators, I think, 6 or 7 stopwatches probably, and they tell us that in roughly 18 minutes, if everyone would keep going at this rate in 18 minutes, Benjamin Baumann should be right on the tail of Loic and Addison, and obviously Farrakas because he's in there as well. So he would make it, and then he would still have 3.5 minutes to be done, right? As in, like, to get through, but that might be a bit
easy,
optimistic.
right? Easy. I mean, we had this last time, right? Benjamin Baumann gained a lot of places. He's gained 10 places so far. Whether he's just dreadful at qualifying or his race pace is just fantastic, I don't know, because he was just, again, as I say, he's gained 10 places from 16th up to 6th. Fantastic racing from him once again here. And whether it's a case of just cars making errors in front of him, and if I'm looking down the field, I can see obviously Fazekas was in front of him, he made an error. Heikki made an error, he was in front of him. Letao made an error, he was in front of him. Bryce, but if I think about it, Letao, Bryce, they were great overtakes that he made. Boulay, he made an error. Honzik obviously was shunted off the track. Tavanari had an error. So Baumann has gained, yes, he's gained some places, but honestly, a lot of it's been done from overtaking. He's really worked his way up the field, and it's great to see him chasing this pack of Addison and Lurik here, who are continuing to battle.
Bryce still trying to get a bit closer to Leo Boulay here to maybe snap away 9th position, but not yet in attack range. 0.8 of a second between these two currently, and that is a bit far off. Same for Loic, by the way, who dropped to 0.7. Jaroslav Honzik behind Luca Tavanari. That's 1.5 seconds. So you can see here he sees Tavanari, and he knows Tavanari will get a penalty as well. Did not do his mandatory pit stop. So
that's impressive. That was around about 7.7 last time I looked at that and talked about it. It was 7.2 gap, because I was saying, is he going to be able to get close enough to get Tavanari, so he knows that penalty is there. So that is another position for Honzik there. And going back to obviously his pit stop, I think he changed tyres, but he also, if you remember, he had damage. He had 15 seconds damage in there as well, because he obviously got spun on the very first corner.
Yeah, he enjoyed a starting grid, kind of like a start camera, you know?
Enjoyed,
yeah. You know, when they put the camera in the ground and everyone's starting left and right? That's basically how the race start looked like for Jaroslav Honzik, as it was spun around, facing the wrong direction, standing right in the middle, and people were going by left and right. So that's what he previously saw, while Loic once again came really close to Luke Addison, but just not enough to launch anything at it. I mean, I'm totally fine with using Fazekas as camera car.
Yeah.
Gets a bit of screen time. Doing a great job hanging in there. But yeah, he's dead last. After what happened to him and after the penalties. But his pace definitely isn't according to the number that he has.
Yeah, still going at the moment. Did have that yeah, he had 2 pit stops. He had the damage, and he had a stop-go as well, penalty that he had to serve, which is why he's got those 2 pit stops in there. But Benjamin Baumann not really gaining, I'm not going to lie, on that last lap. So whether it's because Addison has had to not be as defensive, it seems his pace is kind of back on it right now. Let's have a look further down the field. Leo Boulay and Miguel Bryce. Miguel Bryce trying to get some pressure on it. Boulay is kind of running out of position, if I'm to be truthful here. Did have that big off at the chicane that we are actually about to approach actually in just a second. Just had that big off there, didn't he, last time around. Took it pretty decent this time, and has to be defensive though to run Bryce.
Yeah, it's like Bryce was creeping closer with every single lap, but once again his exit on the last corner not good enough. So we're coming down here, start-finish stretch, passing the BMW grandstands, and he won't be able to launch an attack into turn 1, not even with the Giglioli dive from the back. So Bryce once again has to wait a bit, but look how close he gets in the arena.
Yeah, right on his bumper. He's trying as best he can, as is Loic. Loic back on Luke Addison, by the way. He's even flashing Addison. Is Bryce not going to be able to hold that position? Might be able to on the exit. It's going to be decent exit down there, isn't it? Side by side. He will be on the outside. He's trying to put his car in there as best he can, that's for sure. But yeah, he's not going to be able to hold that one. He'll be around the outside now.
Yeah, well, very interesting scenes that we get here between these two for position 9 and 10. That was quite close. I was just happy that when he crossed over, it was all clear with the front end of Bryce, and I think that is the mistake that brings Bryce back again as he's going side by side. They're heading to Michael Schumacher. Let's see if they can get through the car side by side there as well. Boulay is holding on to the inside. Now Bryce is there. Bryce, touching this. Oh, yeah, he was touching the inside curb, and they're obviously very wet by now and very slippery. Luckily, catch the car without tapping the quarter panel here, or tapping the rear of Leo Boulay, and luckily both are still alive. Jaroslav Honzik, by the way, yeah.
Through on Tavanari, yeah, and I don't know what's happened because Tavanari is suddenly 2.5 seconds back. So whether Tavanari had an off and Honzik simply drove through, or whether there was collision on the way through. But either way, Honzik up into 7th.
Yeah, I think it was Tavanari doing a mistake. Bryce once again slotting in behind Boulay, so much happening right now. Let's see what happened to Jaroslav Honzik and Tavanari while I keep a second eye basically on the other fight. So that is Honzik in the back and then Tavanari up the front. Honzik tried to look up the inside. Oh, he launched it very late. And Tavanari wanted to let him pass. It completely forgot about the rest.
By the way, I need to turn. Yeah,
it's fine.
Totally forgot.
If you're not used to racing, then people probably think like, oh, that's a stupid mistake to do, right? But let me tell you, as you know, I'm running laps basically on the Nürburgring Nordschleife daily, and that happens to a lot of people. They are super slow. They want to let someone pass, so they run the outside, and then all of a sudden they have to realize, like, oh wait, a corner is completely different if I just roll it around the outside line.
Yeah, exactly. You're not on the curve, the embankment. It is it can put you completely out of position. Bryce keeping the pressure onto Leo Boulay. This is obviously 9th and 10th position as he once again has a little peek around there. Also keeping our eye on the battle of Addison and Loic as well. That continues in 4th and 5th. There has been going for some time, but look at Loic. Loic right on the inside this time. Is he going to try and force the pressure? He's forcing Luke Addison to be out of position on the chicane there. Seeing if he can force something. You can see on Luke Addison's screen I was in car and he was very much giving him the warning that the car is on the right, and that's why he had to try and hold a bit of a defensive line effectively through the chicane.
Leo Boulay and Bryce also approaching the chicane by now. It's great, so we know exactly where the good points are for overtaking, right? So we just have to be quick enough to jump there once again. Let's see the chicane. Nope, nothing happens, which means we can probably look into turn 1 and the arena, as Loic is nearly side by side with Luke Addison once again, but he just can't make it stick so far. He's not getting the same overlap that Bryce gets on Boulay. Like Bryce and Boulay, they went side by side, but it seems like Loic is missing the tiny bit to really be side by side.
Yeah, it's not quite working for us. You can just see the frustration of Fazekas behind. Just like, I am on your rear wing. Just get past him for crying out loud. Oh, that was Bryce. Boulay having a little bit of a slide there, wasn't it? Just trying to get the car under control. Bryce looking to maybe try and make it count, but I don't think it's going to work for him here. Yeah, he's just going to have to follow on behind once again.
Yeah, and Bryce is too far away to get alongside here, although that was another mistake by Boulay, running a bit wide and gives the outside line to Bryce, but that is a long, long way, especially with how much banking is available on the inside. But look at Bryce now, he's right behind, he's locked in, he's trying to go around the outside, but there's just no room, and Boulay runs wide as well, nearly pressuring him into the gravel trap.
Yeah, you can't do that on the Dunlop. It's banked that if you are on the outside, you're absolutely going to lose position. So, didn't work out for him there. You know, I was talking about how Jordan Sherratt might not be able to overtake. Well, I'll tell you what, it's this battle that he's gaining on. So that will be very interesting if in 12 minutes' time, Jordan Sherratt suddenly makes an appearance on the back of them if they're still fighting.
Yeah, I mean,
Bryce getting very close to his rear wing there.
I mean, if Baumann doesn't want to join them, then why not sending Jordan Sherratt out there, right? So, let's see if that mixes things up a bit. While we approach soon the last 10 minutes, that was Bryce. Oh, Bryce was very late on the brakes. And I think that scared Leo Boulay here. I'm not sure if that was really a mistake. Like, it was a mistake of Boulay, obviously. But I think he was afraid of Bryce basically killing him going into the chicane.
And he gave the spot back.
Yeah,
so Bryce gave the position back there because, I mean, both of them went wide on the chicane there, so not really a fair. Whoa, they're getting squirrely on the braking. They are kind of too tight, and now we can see Bryce is going to go up the inside, and he should have a better runoff this time around. He is going to be in the outside of the arena, but again, Leo Boulay, he's in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, it's like, once again, can cover up the inside line. You can't really go around the outside here, so it will not work over the curb. Oh, Bryce went a bit wide. Yep. Over the AstroTurf, that's super slippery. So that's slippery plus, basically, if we keep to the rain. By the way, rain in 30 minutes should decrease. Thanks, weather, but that's too late. I mean, we're done by then.
We're done.
Typical Eiffel weather, you know, it's like you're sitting there for your race start. It starts snowing. They cancel the race right after the race is done. Snow is gone, 30 degrees. People in bikinis sitting in the Brunchen.
Times are slipping, aren't they? 201s nowadays. Even Jordan Sherritt's getting close to a 201. He's still doing a 2, but 2 flat. But everybody else 201s plus. So they're definitely slipping off. Giglioli, by the way, that battle there, that has very much gone dead. Razzieri's 4 seconds adrift of him there, so he's as they work their way through the back markers. Luke Addison seemingly has it under control at the moment, with Luik backing off just a touch there. Benjamin Baumann very much closing in on them, but still a little bit of time for him. 10 minutes to go within this race. Jaroslav Honzik and Benjamin Baumann very much running their own race now. Tavanari has fallen back even further. Actually, slowly fallen into the clutches of this battle as Bryce once again goes heavy on those brakes, doesn't he? On Boulay.
Yeah, it's incredible that these two are still fighting. By the way, Fazekas took down Roman Lipins, so he's not last anymore while following the fight. So he's a bit further down now. You can see it here. So Loic is a tiny bit ahead. But it's very interesting to see that he's still going. And we will get the replay of the overtake, Fazekas against Lipins. If I got that correctly, so let's look into that. That should be, yeah, that's Fazekas' a cockpit perspective. And Lipins just not up to the pace into the chicane. Yep, he leaves the door open and Fazekas just went through. Done deal. And so he can follow Loic and Addison a bit further.
It's a bit harsh because he's probably thinking, oh, blue flags, I'm going to get out of the way. I've got to get out of the way for these guys because obviously, you know, 4th and 5th have just overtaken him. So he's like, oh, okay, it's the 6th place coming through. Wait, what? I've just lost a place. What's just happened?
Yeah, that hurts a bit, I would say. Boulay against Bryce. Bryce once again late on the brakes, maybe with a cross. No, that should be enough. Look at the Bryce here making the move, but it will be very hard going into the Michael Schumacher as to keep up the front. They had been in this position before. They're once again going side by side. He might... Wow, he might lose the car on the curbs, I wanted to say, and he was actually slipping across that curb, but he kept going, and once again he has to slot in right behind Leo Boulay, and he will be furious by now that he's doing this over and over again, and he can't just find a way around Leo.
My word, he can't get much closer, there's for sure a little bit of paper between the two cars as Bryce is right on the back of him again. Boulay goes as wide as he dares, but it's coming into the chicane. They're going to be hard on the brakes. Once again, Boulay holds it. What fantastic racing between these two drivers at the moment for 9th and 10th position. Bryce tries to go for the switch once again and see if he can force Boulay to be defensive. It doesn't put him out of position, and once again we go again into turn 1. Oh, meanwhile, Loic's going for it on Addison.
Yeah, they have been side by side. They were trading places previously, but it seems like Luke Addison once again will be the lucky driver being up front. And Fazekas, by the way, is back to their rear wing. So he joined the group. I think he just wants the front row seat for one of the best fights that we have on the grid currently. So I can totally understand him there. That's great. He can have his own camera movement. Doing a good job, Luke Addison, covering up the inside on Dunlop corner. That will give no room here for Loic to make a move. Means we can actually look at, I think, at Bryce and Leo Boulay once again. But yeah, these two fights are still ongoing, and they have roughly 7 minutes if they want to trade places, they should do it fairly soon.
Yeah, and I just wonder if that's going to start to G them up a little bit. They're seeing that time, thinking that one extra place, it will make all the difference. You know, mentally, it helps you out that you can gain that extra spot. It's almost a win, effectively, just to get that last position taken in the 5 minutes to go here. Boulay running a little bit wide. That's put Bryce up the inside once again. And side by side we go again into the Schumacher S. Ooh, just about keeps hold of it so they can keep that racing line together. But Boulay under pressure all the way here till the end, I feel.
Oh, like a little mistake going into the last corner. That means he will definitely not attack Luke Addison. Down into this means we will once again have a look at Bryce and Boulay. If you wonder, it's like, wait, we're switching back and forth. Don't worry, we're only switching between these two fights. It's always Luke Addison against Loic and Boulay against Bryce. And that is up to the chicane now. Bryce really close. Look at that. He can't get closer. Can he do it around the outside of the chicane? Bryce just did it. Absolutely unbelievable. Onto Leo Boulay into the chicane on the outside. That is the best maneuver of Lamborghini The Real Race so far.
That was absolutely fantastic. Licked that stamp and sent it through. It was beautiful for Miguel Bryce. We've seen him trying it many, many times. And if you remember rightly, he had to give the spot back, but he's ran wide on the Yokohama. This they will be able to hold it, though. Boulay was just kind of giving up the ghost, I feel, on this chase here. And realised, I'm done. Forget it. 5 minutes to go. Let's see what he can do. Is Bryce sort of almost playing it too cautious at the moment? I don't know, but he's going to hopefully hold on to that spot. Back to the battle at the front, though. 5th and 4th continuing to chase. Luke Addison and Loic have been going at it throughout. And look at that, as a Benjamin Baumann slowly appearing closer and closer. I don't think he's going to be close enough, though, with just 4 minutes to go.
Yes, I don't see him doing a move here. And there's just not enough time anymore on the board, but absolutely incredible.
But look at the lap times. Look at the lap times of these two. The last lap for both Baumann and Addison was 2:03 and 2:04. They were so much slower. 2 seconds full slower than Baumann was in that last lap.
Yeah, it's like, even if he gets close enough, he will not get into this fight, I think. Farkas gets out of the way then, but Loic is completely concentrated here on Luke Addison. While we see Bryce now getting away a bit from Leo Boulay. So finally, after that amazing maneuver that we just saw, they absolutely love that one. So this is the last big fight that we have. And while I say that, Farkas decides to run a bit wide. I think it's because he really has to adjust his braking points now with these two cars right in front. With him being a bit quicker, but Loic is letting off the gas, I feel. Not really as aggressive on Luke Addison anymore as he was the previous laps.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if he's got enough time left. You know, he's tried everything. I think he's tried everything he can think of. And it's just not working out for him. With 3 minutes to go, if it's going to equate to what? Depends where, obviously, Jordan Sherritt is. But it's going to equate to roughly 1 to 2 laps. I can see that Sherritt at the moment is about to go over the line. So we will have about 2 laps to go because it's 2 minutes a lap at the moment. 2:01s is the timer as he goes over the line now. So we will have one more lap after this to go into the final lap. So he's got two laps to do for Razzieri. Not for Razzieri, sorry, for Addison, to see if he can defend. I've got to be... Oh, that was a wide run, wasn't it, from Loic? So I don't think it's going to happen.
No, I don't see this coming together, but what I want to see is the overtaking once again.
Oh, yeah.
Which is Bryce against Leo Boulay. We see him really, really close up the front. Oh, look at that. He slotted the car millimeters in front of Leo Boulay in an absolutely incredible fashion.
Absolutely fantastic. Do not be put off by the different livery on the car suddenly there. It is the same car, Leo Boulay. Sorry, not Leo Boulay. Miguel Bryce that we've seen throughout there. That is the blue car, of course. That is now up into 9th place. He's going to be delighted with that. I wonder what sort of penalty is going to be applied to Tavanari, because he may be able to gain another one. He's 12.5 seconds behind at the moment on Tavanari, who is obviously running in 8th. Didn't serve that pit stop at the right time when the pit window was was open. He went in about 5 minutes before the window opened after taking some damage, and I just wonder if that's going to be a problem for him. Jordan Sherratt, though, obviously current race leader, has dominated throughout. There's no doubt about it. The South African has absolutely mauled everyone in this championship throughout. With just a minute and a half to go, he's going to be coming up onto the final lap in just a moment. He has been unstoppable, unchallenged, dominating throughout.
Yeah, absolutely great drive by him once again. 2
Bryce
hours
in the pits?
of not... Who missed the pits? Bryce is in the pits? But
is he run out?
Why?
Is fuel? It's got to be fuel.
No way! What a turn of events! I mean, he does the best. He does the best overtaking that I saw for a long,
Boulay goes
long
completely
time.
off. Boulay has gone completely off as well. Has he run out of fuel as well? I think
he did.
Now you've got to remember, as I said, Sherratt gone over the line. He's done his fuel, and this is all because Sherratt went that extra lap, and it's caught them all off guard.
Oh my goodness,
and
mate!
it is. What is happening? Latau goes up into 9th. Thank you very much. He's just going to coast it round and see what he can do. But yeah, wow.
And Bryce is at least a lucky one because he realised that he ran out of fuel, went into the pits, and then now he's still going in 10th. So does everyone else still keep it going? I mean, Jordan Sherratt does. He might be cruising, to be honest. I think he's
I want to look at lap times, yeah.
on it.
Because the 207's coming out here from Latau. So he is really coasting it. Tafanari 205s. I feel these guys are lifting pretty heavily as Jordan Sherratt goes round on his final lap. Some of them under-fueled and drama on the last lap here.
Yeah, Leo Boulay is done for now. There he is. He stands in the arena. So he passed the pits behind... who was the driver missing? Bryce. And he was probably wondering why Bryce pulled off. And when he passed the pits, he had to realize as well, I don't have any fuel. It's like, that's probably it for me, right? Latau, I hope he's still okay.
I mean, it means that now Jordan Sherratt has lapped up into, he's chasing 8th place now. He's past 9th place. Yeah, Latau is fine. I mean, Latau is just lifting, I feel. He's up behind him. He has got a 5-second penalty. Miguel Bryce is 11 seconds adrift, so he's going to hold on to that 9th place, it seems Latau will. The engine died for Leo Boulay, apparently. I mean, I got to assume that's either he's done some sort of downshifting error and screwed it up. I don't know. But either way, or just run out of fuel. But the engine tends to die when you don't have fuel. Jordan Sherratt, the winner. Though on your screen, fantastic performance from him. Latau goes over the line as well as Miguel Bryce, and 9th and 10th secured for them. It is going to be Giglioli in 2nd place, Razzieri in 3rd as they all come over the line. Luke Addison is going to go successfully over in 4th place as well. Not really under contention anymore from Loic. Benjamin Baumann, what a race for him, gaining 10 places in 6th position. What a finish that will be for him as they all come over the line. I do say what a finish because I'm just waiting to make sure they all have fuel to get over the line.
Yeah, it's like, we hope so, right? That would be a big drama if now people would not make it anymore. We know the 28 I see on my screen that is not moving anymore. That is Leo Boulay, so everyone else is still moving. I see the 21 being fairly soon. Look at Tavanari. Let's look up his cockpit. No, he's still revving out the gears. Yeah, so he should be absolutely fine in terms of fuel, which means everyone should be able to finish. Lippins is down 2 laps, and yeah, Leo Boulay is obviously already out. At least it, but Luca Tavanari, the last one to come across the line in 8th position. He will obviously get the penalty of not having a pit stop, but he finishes the race, and that's already more than a few other drivers, so you can always celebrate that.
130-second penalty. Ooh,
that's
big.
I mean, it's correct.
Yeah, I think he should be enough. Was it Latau that was behind him? And and like you say, he's got almost a full lap on him. So I think he's actually going to hold on to that position. So I mean, gamble or not, it's kind of paid off for him, and he ends up with an 8th place.
Yes, interesting. I don't know if that was an active choice of Luca Tominari,
Oh, it's
but
not. That's see now. Yeah, because Letao went over the line behind Sherratt, which is why he couldn't carry on his lap, which is why he was effectively lapped, right? I mean, it wasn't a lap
True.
overall.
Yeah, but still 130 seconds. No, wait.
Yeah,
Oh.
he was definitely not 130 seconds,
yeah,
but because
he
he
would-
went over the line
Yeah.
and had been lapped, he couldn't obviously carry on behind Tavanari. Otherwise, he would have gained it. I don't know. I guess we'll find out later on down the line, but what matters right there is the man that was on your screen, Jordan Sherratt, the champion, once again here at the Nürburgring, as he has been throughout. Absolutely a dominant performance by that man there. No doubt.
Jordan Sherratt, I mean, the thing is, what should we say by now about him, right? we always said, and it didn't change. He's still flawless. He's very consistent. He's incredibly fast. And he's ice cold. And he's very successful in doing so. So what else can we say? He's winning. He's coming onto the server to win the race. And he does it without anyone ever questioning if he can win this. And if he keeps going like this, he might even win all the events. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it's looking that way. We've just passed the halfway stage of this championship, and he does look unstoppable. He's so far ahead. Of course, where are we going next? We're going over to Catalonia. Now, you guys at home, if you're watching, you can try and get involved in this one. This is going to be, the qualifiers open on the 27th of September through to the 1st of October. Set your calendar for that. If you are in the top 40, then you will be invited to the closed qualifier, which will happen on the 2nd of October, and then the race will be on the 3rd of October if you're lucky enough to be in the top 20. Don't forget the chance to win a headset if you sign yourself up and just try and have a go. Simply as that. So there's a chance of winning a prize. Get yourself involved and see if you're as quick as Jordan Sherratt. Nobody else is so far.
But there's definitely someone out there as quick as Jordan Sherratt. There always is someone, right? It's not us, Lee. That's for sure.
It's not. It's not.
That-
We got to get Niels in here. Niels won it last year. You know, there's a chance.
True. Niels Naujaks, he could have a go. But I'm pretty sure that he's busy with other tasks as of right now. Nor do I know if he's allowed to win it again.
That's true, because he was on the show in the first one. Yeah. Yeah.
I really don't know if that's happening. But Jordan Sherratt doing a great job. Really appreciate his driving style. It's so clean. It's incredible to watch. Although we're not watching it that often because we got plenty of racing action on our hands and the Lamborghini The Real Race the entire time as these Huracán GT3s are just amazing to drive. And they look at doing overtakes on the outside in front of the chicane. Props to Bryce there. That was an absolutely incredible maneuver. And love that one. Love that show. And I wonder if there's a final event and we bring all the regions together at one point, right? So is there someone in the other regions maybe that could take down Jordan Sherratt?
O'Hara, maybe? O'Hara's doing a fantastic job in the APAC region. He's as dominant, I would say, as we've seen Jordan Sherratt doing. Obviously, he didn't take part in the first race we covered, which Gary Huang won. But ever since then, O'Hara has dominated. It's Henderson, isn't it, that's dominating over in America as well, the Latin and North America. Henderson, who actually had lag issues in the first race, if you remember, and had to pull
Or was
to
it
the
Liam
side.
Henderson?
No. It's it's William.
Okay, all right.
William. Damn it! You've made me question his first name, but Henderson anyway.
Put you on the point.
Hendrickson, not Henderson.
Hendrickson. All right, because we're really confused.
Yes, so fantastic stuff. Either way, keep your eyes across the field. Obviously, as I say, next race, Catalonia. That's where we're going.
Beautiful place, right? Good looking racetrack. Challenging one, especially the last sector and the chicane that you dive into, like down the hill into a super tight chicane. Not an easy one, but an incredible place to go alongside. And if you make it through too wide, then that's already a big achievement. You can probably celebrate that a lot. Although, I think we're coming to an end with the Lamborghini The Real Race. Round number 6 as we're approaching the final stretch of this series and sending one lucky driver into a Lamborghini Huracán Super Trofeo EVO at the end of the season. So that's quite a big prize. Don't miss out on that. I think there's nothing else to say. I'll then see you back later on. Barcelona, Catalonia up next. Goodbye.